It's Friday, January 30th, 2026. All right, let's start as we typically do by reminding you that I can't speak.
What it's going to sound like when you have a stroke.
Yeah, probably.
Or me, one of us.
Something like that. Anyway, it's a reminder that if you'd like to support our show, why you would want to after that opening, I can't imagine. But if you would like to for some reason, then you can go to supportourshow.com, and there you will find the support options to provide money so that I can get speech lessons to be able to do the same opening that I do every show without managing to stumble over my own tongue and teeth, if possible.
Tongue and teeth.
I'd like to start off by giving a free promotion to something, because when something delights me, I'm happy to promote it.
So that's why this show is brought to you by Vagina.
Correct. Actually, wait a minute. Is my synth not working? Hold on. Can you hear that?
Hear what?
Oh, I can't.
Do you have a vagina noise on your synth?
No, but weirdly, wait a minute. Oh, it's not on. No, it is on. No, it's not on. Yeah,
Did you try turning it off and on? Or on?
Wait a minute. No, it is on. What the hell's going on? Hold on. Huh, I wonder why the sound's not working. Wait a minute. Hold on. In, out, in, out.
In and out, yeah.
Yep,
That's what
I figured it out.
About.
That's why. The little 3.5 millimeter, the actual plug was just slightly out. You know how you have to really go all the way in with the 3.5?
We're still talking about vaginas, right?
I was going to say, speaking of vaginas, it's important to be aware of how far in something is if you're going to expect sound to come out from the other end.
Yeah, go ahead.
Boy, they're not going to want to hear this promotion now. But no, don't mention it. Don't mention it. There is a network of shows that I've talked about them before. I've had some of the people who are on there on the late night series before, but it's a series of shows under the network itself is called the Twit Network, which is short for This Week in Tech. It's technology shows, and at first, to see that, you would think it would be, depending on what your interest level is, it might be very dull. It might seem like it is just tech stories. And technically, it is. But it's also not. So I wanted to, because they're kind of trying to go independent and not have to rely on advertisers, which I wholeheartedly support. And they're kind of in a transition period. So I'm happy to promote it because I was listening to, they have a show called Windows Weekly. And I am immensely entertained by it because while it is, again, surface level, it is about Windows news, like Microsoft Windows news and what's going on and, updates and all that stuff. The hosts on this thing are what make it great. On the one side, you have an individual who has covered Microsoft for, I don't know, at least 20 years, probably closer to 30, named Paul Thurrott, who is one of the most acidic curmudgeons that you could possibly hope to hear about Microsoft. He both loves it for what it is and hates it for what it is. And it's brilliant. It's just amazing. So he will talk about Microsoft and on the one hand defend it while also pouring gasoline on the parts that he thinks don't work and then throwing Roman candles at him. So it's that's one half. And Really, I mean, probably 2-3 years ago. I don't remember how recently. There was a different host who was also, she was great, but she went to a job where she couldn't do podcasting because sometimes when you take these jobs in either journalism or at certain companies, you really can't go on these shows because now you become the representative of
your
XYZ.
own competition.
Yes, to some, or they don't want you to risk saying something that could be negatively interpreted and cut off coverage from that company.
Yes, there's that too.
So she left, and this individual named Richard Campbell came on, who's also a long time Microsoft. I mean, he's spoken at conferences, all this stuff. But there's two things about Richard Campbell that, again, partnered with, and they know each other, so that also helps. They get along very well, but they also feed off each other's mania. So it's very funny with their back and forth. But the other thing about Richard Campbell is he's got these weird references to things. As of this posting, not the last show, but the one before, out of nowhere, when they were talking about Microsoft executives, he called them second-generation bonobos from the banana experiment, and nobody on the show knew what he was talking about. And then he explained what turns out to be an apocryphal version of a real experiment in psychology, interestingly enough, called the stepladder experiment, I believe, from the 60s or 70s, to do with rhesus monkeys, I think. I guess bonobo monkeys.
I'm not familiar with this one, but they did a lot of studies on monkeys.
So, the version that gets passed around a lot, and this was, as the apocryphal version goes, it makes sense for how Microsoft operates, is they had these monkeys, and they put bananas at the top of a ladder.
Is this where the monkeys started, like, training each other to do weird shit?
Well, not really train each other. They would start to beat on other monkeys who were attempting to reach for the bananas because they had been sprayed with water. And that's the version that gets passed around, but that's actually not what happened. What happened was they had a few monkeys that they got one negative response off of one monkey from, and it's sort of kind of telephone storied into this larger thing. So, but the fact that he just drops this random expression casually, talking about Microsoft executives, I was laughing so hard at it because it's one of those brilliant little things. And this is why I would promote, most of the network has people like this in the shows I listen to anyway. But particularly, even if you don't care about Windows, which I barely do, I'm not listening for the Windows news. I don't care. Windows doesn't update that breaks things. It's week 3 of 4 weeks. Nobody cares. What they're working on, is Microsoft even going to matter as far as OSs in a decade? Probably not. So it's not like that's the thing. What you listen for is this back and forth, this kind of byplay between the two of them. But like I said, that was such a delightful aside. And then Paul Thurrott, the other one, got angry for like 5 minutes about people referring to EDCs, everyday carries, which I totally agree with him about. I find it to be a ridiculous invented concept for YouTube. That is just stupid.
Is everyday carry where people basically just tell you all the random shit they carry on them that day?
That's correct. And he said, so you mean your wallet and your watch? What are you talking about? And I'm like, yes, I complete. And you will see these videos. Whoever's everyday carry. Who fucking cares? Nobody.
You know what? But here's the thing, right? You know why they do these things, right?
Because people are like, I should get that stuff.
There are people who basically want to emulate their idols. That's all it is. It's you're looking for one more thing to emulate. Well, it is stupid, but there are people who have such a fear of not being part of the in crowd that they are desperate to,
Well, it became an offshoot of this idea that they would talk to people who were professionals and say, "What's in your bag when you go to a thing?"
Everyday carry for me actually goes back even further. That to me is what knife you carried. Like if someone asked me 20 years ago what my everyday carry was, I'd think that they were talking about what knife I carried.
Yes, and it is sort of but where it came from, I think, in the modern era is not that. It came from this idea that you would see these videos, and these I think
in the social media age is what you're talking about.
Well, no, but they would talk to somebody who, let's say, was doing on-location photo shoots and was independent. And they would say, what is in your bag when you do one of these shoots? So if people wanted to be independent videographers or whatever.
That's not an everyday carry, though. That's a
it isn't. And that's what I'm saying.
Utilize for certain situations.
It started from that. Yeah. And then this came from that as, well, what do you just carry with you at all times in case?
Your mom.
And then it's now dwindled down to literally whatever's in your pockets, and it's just the dumbest thing. It's all over the place. Yeah.
You know what?
But anyway, like I said,
I got nothing in my
Paul
pockets.
Thurrott sounded like he wanted to reach through the speakers and kill anybody who ever used the letters EDC. And it warms my heart to hear somebody else that is as acidically, miserably hateful about dumb things like that as I am. So, as I said, free plug for that show and the entire network, which I'm a huge fan of.
So what are they trying to fund themselves with then?
Well, they're doing kind of, the Patreon model. So they have a subscription model, which is relatively cheap for how much content they produce. They put out they have shows Thursday through Saturday, and on like Tuesdays, Wednesdays, they have just shows almost all day. 2 to 3 hour shows, one after another. And it's on a variety of things. So the ones I listen to are generally Mac Break Weekly, Windows Weekly, Intelligent Machines, what else? Tech News Weekly, This Week in Tech. It's kind of what I listen to all week. It's just kind of it's the radio of the background all week. But they had a studio for a while, which I actually went to all 3 of the studios they had. Because first they were Tech TV. That was when they were on the G4 network, which was part of Comcast. That was actually the first or second time I came out to San Francisco at all. I went to one of the live tapings of that, which ironically, it was a cutting-edge tech show where the guest was a slide ruler expert, which I always thought was hilarious, and where I almost lost my cell phone in a cab, but managed to get it back. Only time that's happened. And then then they opened their own independent studio called the Brick House, which I actually had bought a brick in because they had a wall where people could contribute to it. I had my dad's name on a brick there. And then they went to a different studio, still in Petaluma, where the studios were. And I actually went to the second to last show there. And then they basically, because the rent was just shooting up like everywhere else in the world. And so basically they've gone all remote with everybody, and everybody's, because you can now.
Yeah.
And they're trying to, ideally, they said if 15% or so of the audience were to subscribe, it's like $10 a month. For, again, way more than $10 a month gets you almost anywhere else. I can't even think of any place else that produces the amount of stuff. And like us, they still put out everything free. They do have some stuff that's technically paywall, but only for a month, and then it comes out on the public channel. So it's, And if 15%, then they wouldn't have to do advertising at all. They would be able to be completely audience supported. So, like I said, I'm just giving a free plug because I've spoken. I mean, Aunt Pruitt, who I've had on the show several times, and I'm friends with. He came from there. Micah Sargent I had on late night last year. I don't remember exactly when. Later in the year, I've talked to Jason Howell, who used to be there. So I've talked to a bunch of people. Paris Martineau, who is an investigative reporter that is on Intelligent Machines. Jeff Jarvis, who is a big-time media. I mean, he's on CNN and all kinds of stuff all the time, ranting about free speech and stuff, ranting in a positive way. So they're great. But like I said, I just want to plug it because, it'd be great if they didn't have to have ads. But plus, like I said, the real selling point, even if you don't care about tech, is the personalities are really good. I would never have heard of second-generation bonobos from the Banana Experiment. I mean, it just rolled right off his tongue without even a thought. And I don't think he was even going to explain it, except they stopped the whole show and say, what the hell are you talking about? And then he went to this thing. And I went and tried to look it up, and that's where I found that, okay, that's the apocryphal version of the real experiment, which I think people debate whether it was really demonstrated anything, but that's kind of secondary. Still, a good example of media literacy. If you hear something, don't just take it on faith. Go and research it and find out what the truth is. It's a good idea. And I checked it in 3 different sources, and they all agree that the monkeys beating the crap out of other monkeys thing was a blown up version of what actually happened, which was apparently one male pulled his mate, the female, away from the ladder or whatever for this thing, and the other 2 demonstrated like threat postures.
Yeah,
and that was
if
as far as it went.
If you want to start looking at fucked up experiments from that time period, there's plenty of other ones.
Well, no, I'm not recommending that. I'm just saying that a wise thing to do, we've said this before, is if you hear something, go see what the truth is behind it. Because,
check the sources.
Yeah, it's always good to check sources.
Yeah.
And that's not an indictment of Richard Campbell, because this has been apparently actual people in the psychology field were repeating this story as if it was real without doing their own fact checking. So it happens. Well, it happens to everybody.
You know what it is? Somebody hears it, you hear it a bunch of times, and you think, well, how could they all be wrong? And I think that is a common mistake of society, where you think, if 100 people repeat it, how can it be wrong? And very often, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And then the hard part becomes, you can't even slow it down then at that point.
No. But it is rooted in apparently a real experiment, just that real experiment never was as expansive or demonstrated quite the results that a lot of people think it did. But again, there's the whole thing of, something that is not true rooted in a form of truth. Another common thing, which is usually where these things come from. Well, I shouldn't say this in the modern day in the United States, but there aren't as many outright fabrications as we think. However, that becomes less true here by the hour.
Well, the trick is to lie so much that people don't even know what's true and when to lie anymore. So,
this is true.
That's when you can kind of just get up to whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even going to get into the politics of the world because... the politics of the world. Politics of the U.S.
Yeah, forget the world.
Yeah.
I mean, the world's got its problems, but...
And we're one of them, so...
Oh, boy, are we. Shucks howdy.
So let's talk about... Let's do some distraction here. Let's talk about things not dismal for a while. What do you think of... Yeah? I have a question for you.
Ask me. What is it? I'm going to tell you whether it was what I was about to say.
What did you think of their take on the Masters of the Universe?
Fuck! Good. I'm glad that's what you said. I had it in my head to talk about it. Okay. I find this entire concept bizarre. Not to do anything with the movie. Not to do with the movie.
It is weird, yeah, because, I mean, you watched the animated series that Kevin Smith wrote, right?
Yes, and I thought it was fine.
Yeah, and the thing is...
I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was bad. It was fine.
Most of the time when you have He-Man, you come from a place of, well, this is He-Man, right? Or in the case of the Dolph Lundgren one, which was like, kind of He-Man, mostly He-Man, I think budget-wise, they were like, how much of this can we do, not in a fantasy world? And then they created this weird connection with the real world, which never existed in the show to my knowledge. Like...
No, I don't think so.
Right? So the fact that once again they're doing a movie that, it looks like a lot of the stuff from the show, but then they're once again tying it to the real world, like the Dolph Lundgren one. It's strange.
Yeah. It is. Okay, so a couple things. Right from the beginning, one of the things that is... I mean, they picked the right guy for Skeletor because fuck Jared Leto. But the thing that...
I'm just glad you can't see him.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's bad enough we'll probably have to hear him. But this IP is bizarre that they're trying to make a modern version of it. Because, unlike, say, Transformers, intentionally or not, was very smart in that Transformers never really ended. It just kept changing, right? So there was Gen 1, then they went into Beast Wars.
And the thing is like, and everybody kind of picks the allotment that they like. Like, so my son loves the IDW run, but he first got into the what do you call it? The Michael Bay movies. That's what got him in.
Yeah.
But then he likes the IDW more than anything.
But I don't know that there has been a substantial amount of time since you and I were children. There has not been a long stretch where there hasn't been some version of Transformers on a network of some kind, actively on. I'm not saying they didn't take breaks, but every so often you would get a different permutation.
Yeah, there's always been some amount of cartoon,
Yes. That has kept them, the Transformers itself, as a cultural kind of, it's always there. It's sort of in the background for some, but as you said, your kids could grow up watching Transformers, not the same one you and I watched, but the same basic concept. And so there is a fandom that is younger that knows what it is. Whereas He-Man, even the Kevin Smith one, was geared towards you and I, our age.
Yeah.
It was geared for people who watched the original. The original has not been on in, 30-something years now.
Yeah.
I don't think He-Man has the same cultural permanence that Transformers does.
Here's the thing. The image of He-Man and Skeletor is around because they've become, there's a lot of memes based off of He-Man. So the visuals of He-Man are around. But here's the other thing. Honestly, He-Man survives to some degree through She-Ra. Remember they did that She-Ra show, was that on Netflix? That people absolutely adored. Was it Netflix?
Right, but...
Yeah, but again, that's not
She-Ra.
He-Man. Yeah, I know.
Right.
That's just, it's He-Man adjacent.
Now, when you say the thing about the imagery and Skeletor and He-Man, what you're talking about is meme recognition. Yeah. That's a different thing. There are memes that I know and I don't know the source material, so I just know the meme. Like the thing where, is this a butterfly? That's from some anime I've never seen. Is this a butterfly or a dinosaur meme? I know what that is. I know the image. It's an anime character looking at a butterfly. I have no idea what it's from. So if they were to make a film version of that, I would have no idea what that is. I know the meme. I don't know the source material. And that's where, He-Man, Skeletor, people might know what they are from imagery, but they have no attachment to the IP. So I look at this thing, and, it looks fine. It looks like a modern film.
Can I give you... Yeah. I just had a little bit of hope, because I didn't realize who was directing this. Do you know who's directing this?
I don't. Who is it?
All right, so this guy directed Kubo and the Two Strings and the Bumblebee movie. And I actually really like what he did with that movie. So maybe they can pull it off. Hopefully.
Here's the point I want to make.
Yeah.
I don't have any issues for us because we know what it is.
Yeah.
So that's not the thing, but it looks like it's aimed at modern audiences, meaning younger than us.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why
it has a hip feel, but you don't have the built-in audience for it the way that you did for Transformers. So it's a weird movie. I'm not saying that means it's going to fail, but I don't know how you satisfy those two audiences simultaneously. Bumblebee works because they dialed it into one character, a human character, and Bumblebee as a character so that you knew who Bumblebee was. And really, let's be honest, that was the modern version of Bumblebee, not the one we grew up with. That was a more modern one, which is fine. Again, I like the movie too, but it was banking on the nostalgia that we had, especially without opening on Cybertron, which was fucking rad. And then it morphed into, now we're going to do like a 90s comedy thing, or a 90s, buddy thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And that brought in younger ones. So that one split the difference, but this is all the characters, and they're trying to make... They're trying
to do the whole world, yeah.
Yeah, Adam... What was Adam's last name? He had a last name, didn't he?
He was Prince Andrew.
His human form was Adam something.
Prince Adam. This was Prince Adam.
Yeah, Prince Adam.
I don't remember him ever having a last name.
Let's see. He-Man... He-Man's last name is what? Oh, no, you're right. Real name, Adam. It's just Adam. Yeah. Jesus Christ. So they're trying to make
name Adam, first name Prince.
Add last name Am. Add Am. Mr. Am. So they're trying to make Adam they're trying to do the teenage girl thing in Bumblebee with Adam, and then making He-Man the fantastical side. So they're trying to cram both characters together. I don't know if it's going to work or not.
Can they make a meta movie out of this and have it work?
It has a weird tone.
Maybe they're trying to never-ending story it to some degree, But I get the sense that he knows that he's not from Earth.
Yeah, no, it's the whole thing where I've always felt like there was more of a destiny for me somewhere out there, and it's Eternia. Okay, got it. Like it's.
Hey, listen, you know what? Outside of my fear, I
don't have a fear of it.
I like Idris Elba as Man-at-Arms.
Of course. That's the perfect thing. Is the counterpoint to Jared Leto is Idris Elba.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like all the design things they did with some of the characters, but you know what? I watched He-Man so long ago that I'm willing to let a lot of it go.
And okay, now this is where I'm coming from, which is
you watched the show recently.
No. Not that I watched the show. Yeah. No, I'm saying I don't care. I don't care about any of the design stuff. But that to me is more of an issue with how are they going. If you're going to modernize He-Man, which I think is an interesting idea on itself. I mean, the He-Man concept is so stupid to begin with. It's so dumb. It really is only made to work for children. Much like when you grow up and see G.I. Joe and you sit there and go, how are they never hitting anybody?
Why do they
How is nobody dead?
Why do they have hover cars and lasers but still fight with swords?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. There's
I know.
There's layers of it that when you're a child.
As somebody who likes fantasy, there is a part of me that has always tried to figure out a reason why that works. And honestly, I think what it is, and this is my own personal belief in it, is I think that once magic becomes the thing, I think that you can render certain kinds of weaponry pointless. Like if you can't shoot a wizard, right, then suddenly you need something other than a gun to deal with a wizard. Right? So you may have technologies that work and they push them, and you might have technologies where you're like, okay, the laser gun will kill, half the people here, but the other half are, too fast or too armored or too any, number of things, and you got to gut them. I mean, that's the other part too, is that then creates the idea that He-Man carries the sword because he's going to stab somebody. So I
think looking at it,
it
would have made more sense to me, because we often talk about there's certain things that should be series and certain things that should be movies.
Yeah.
To me, this should have been a series. This should be a series, and every episode you introduce one of the numerous villains they have.
Amazon's doing it, so maybe it'll become a series.
Well, I think that would work because.
But I think they got burned.
From He-Man.
I think they got burned by Lord of the Rings so hard that they're like,
I don't know if this is going to unburnify them.
Let's just do a movie. Yeah.
Maybe. Because the thing I always liked about He-Man was all the villains, and not Skeletor. Yeah. Honestly, I found Skeletor to be pretty boring.
Mossman, because he was fuzzy.
Mossman, Merman, Tri-Face.
Was Technic a good guy or a bad guy? I can never remember now.
Technic? Bad guy, I think.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Let me check. I'm pretty sure bad guy. Let's see. Hold on. But his name wasn't Technic, though, was it? Is that his actual name?
I don't know. That's what I called him when I was a kid.
It's a Techno guy. Because he was one of the bad guys in the... Hold on a minute. What was the... I think I know who you mean, but I don't think his name is Technic.
I do like the fact... Man, it's kind of... It goes both ways. Like, the guy they've got playing Adam, he's very goofy in the trailer. And you kind of sit there and go, okay, well, how good is your acting? How are you going to be when you're He-Man? Because that was always the thing. He was goofy when he was Adam, and then when he became He-Man, he was like badass. And you want to. Is this guy good enough to play it both ways? I don't know what this guy's been in.
Stinkor. They got to get Stinkor in there. Yeah. Yeah. Is it Roboto? Roboto, I think is who you're talking about. He's a heroic one. He works with Man at Arms.
Oh, there you go.
That's a Roboto, whatever. That's probably what you're thinking of.
I haven't seen anything that this guy's been in.
Well, okay, and this brings another thing.
Yeah.
One thing I like about it is that the guy is not Dolph Lundgren, because you and I have talked about the fact that everybody now has to be Marvelized and overly jacked, and I like the fact that this guy doesn't look overly jacked.
Okay, he's pretty big.
Yeah, but he's not Dolph Lundgren looking. He looks like he's fairly normal looking.
If you see him standing next to Idris Elba, he is fucking huge.
What's his name again?
So his name is Nicholas.
Yeah.
And then it's Galitzine. So Galitzine. Galitzine.
All right, let me see him.
And there's a picture of him standing next to Idris Elba where you're like, okay,
Hold on, I'm looking for...
Like, he's taller than Idris Elba, and he's got the shoulders. I mean, I think that's what it is that they... In the trailer, they really play up the Prince Adam angle on it, which is always like kind of more doughy and silly, and then when he becomes He-Man, they're going to pull the shirt off and rub oil on him, and suddenly he's going to be like. I mean,
they're gonna, of course. I'm not saying. Look, I'm not saying that he's Andy Dick or anything. What I'm saying is, he doesn't. I mean, I'm looking at pictures of him, and he's still not anywhere near as unnatural as the Marvel people look. They look unnatural now to me.
Well, because the Marvel thing has been basically to go giant in the shoulders and chest, and then to have like a tiny little waist.
That's what I mean about he looks like he's more
this guy?
Naturally jacked than.
I haven't seen anything.
I'm looking at pictures of him training where he's got his shirt on very tight, and he looks not like a plastic doll. The way some of the Marvel people do.
Tight shirts. Where is this show going?
And he's he's big. I'm not saying he's a string bean. This is not what I'm implying, that he and I would be equals at an arm wrestling match. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is he doesn't look weird to me the way a lot of modern heroic characters look like somebody put a tire pump in their arms.
I'll be honest with you.
Disturbing.
Looking at a picture of Dolph Lundgren in the He-Man movie, he's just as jacked. Because remember, when Dolph Lundgren did that movie, Dolph Lundgren, I mean, that is outside of the Marvel model. The Marvel model came later on.
Yeah.
Like, Dolph Lundgren actually looks, I mean, he's fucking big, but he's not like, no, he's not ridiculous. I mean, the cock strap they had on him, that's pretty ridiculous. But, no, he's, yeah. I think this guy's pretty big. But I mean, we'll see.
I'm looking at pictures of Dolph Lundgren as He-Man and this guy, and Dolph Lundgren is far wider, is all I'm saying. Now, again, I'm not saying that, it's not even a Dolph Lundgren thing. I'm talking about the Marvel thing that we've talked about.
Well, that's what we're getting into,
look ridiculous. Yeah, Dolph Lundgren's arms, ironically, do seem kind of thin for as jacked as he is. And so I don't mind him. I never minded. I actually thought he was a perfect casting choice.
Yeah,
for He-Man.
No, listen, he wasn't the problem with that movie.
No.
And actually,
it's pathetic.
When I was a kid, I did enjoy that movie, but I wanted more of his world. That's He-Man. That movie is He-Man on a budget,
which is stupid. Putting He-Man on Earth is just a bad idea, top to bottom. It's just a bad idea. But so no, I again, this isn't a Dolph Lundgren thing. This is a Marvel thing. That's the thing I noticed about this movie is I looked at that guy and I'm like, I can buy that. I can buy that.
When Hemsworth, I mean, I've read a lot about this because like.
And Horlack. They gotta have Horlack. Horlack's the best.
When I got into fitness many years ago, because the other day you were complaining, everybody fucking lifts now, and I was laughing because I was like, well, I've been lifting forever, which is like it's such a terrible thing to say, but yeah. I've been lifting for years and years now, and I've tried a lot of different approaches, and I've tried a lot of different things. And when I was in my 20s, I used a lot of these like pre-workout mixes until I realized that they were like fucking terrible for you. And that was around the time that I started to realize that you couldn't trust vitamin companies and you couldn't trust any of these companies because I mean they were just putting all kinds of weird shit in these pre-workout things, which is why when you took them, you would be like, oh my God, I can rip everything in half. Like it's terrible. And so, but the thing is like when the Marvel movies happened, they started to show these guys. It was the first time where you got a regular amount outside of like Arnold and Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger, who was so jacked that I think anyone who looked at him was like, I'm never going to look like that. And actually, I always feel like Stallone was more attainable. Like of the two of them, you could watch Stallone in a movie. I completely agree. And be like, I could get that big. Whereas like Arnold would walk in and he'd be like, no way ever. Like he's the Bruce Lee of muscles.
Arnold was a combination of steroids and natural genes maxed out. Good genes,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying, is they took what he already had, which was a head, and then they boosted it artificially to the point where he became a caricature that you wished you could be.
Yeah, and then when Marvel came out and started having kind of its formula for what they wanted their people to look like, first off, listen, I don't give Marvel any crap for it, because Marvel knows that they're making theatrics, they know that they're putting a show, and here's the thing, women have been held to fucking ridiculous standards for years. So I actually found it very amusing that they were making men feel, uncomfortable with their bodies. But early on, when people started, you started seeing people, it was a weird build. So like Hemsworth, who is like, I guess he's my favorite of the Marvel bodybuilders. I mean, he does look great, but early, like, especially like now, he's more rounded. But like then, they had him get chest. They jacked up his chest. They jacked up his arms. He was already like fairly active. He was but he was lanky. If you want to see something really funny, you should look up pictures of Chris Hemsworth before he was Thor, when he was just doing Australian television, right?
Oh yeah, no, I remember seeing him.
And the thing is, he's got a nice build. He's a healthy guy, but he wasn't huge. But they really only focused on those big muscles, so up top. So it's almost like he's wearing like football pads. So when you see him in the first Thor movie, like, he just narrows to nothing, right? You never see him with his pants off, by the way. So I wonder if they just ignored his legs.
It's very I think they understood where they had to focus.
Yeah. And that's one of those funny things, because like when Henry Cavill got,
but I also think
Superman,
at that point they probably didn't have the formula down on how to jack these guys out,
because
they didn't realize they didn't have the thing in place.
There's been a lot of talk about what they do, what they don't do, and there's been a lot of speculation. And here's the thing: if you have a trainer and you have like the specific thing you're supposed to do every day, and you eat exactly what you're supposed to eat, and you have all these people controlling it, right? And you don't break the rules. That's the other part of this, is that you don't break the rules, because tomorrow you and I could get signed up for a Marvel movie, and if neither of us listens to what they're telling us to do, we're still going to look like normal people.
Of course.
So I give these people credit, because they're given all these rules and they have to do it. I've said this before. Even if steroids are involved, steroids are a drug that you still have to utilize once you've taken them. So, like, if Joe takes steroids, he's still going to look like Joe. Whereas if I take steroids, I'm going to get fucking even bigger than I am now, right? Because the whole idea is that if you utilize it, and so that's the other thing. Because there's people out there that are like, you take steroids and you just get jacked going to the mailbox, And it's like, no. You still have to lift hard. It just makes it easier to build.
Yeah.
So these people still have to work for it. These people still have to follow. Without drugs, if you follow the rules, you can get pretty good looking on a pretty good time frame. But reading about some of these people and how quickly they got to the physical form that they were at,
right?
And
it's not natural.
And here's the thing, and having lifted for years, and known a lot of people who lifted, and a lot of people who took stuff and who didn't take stuff, and this is a common question in the world of lifting, where it's like, are you they call it natty, or what's the phrase? It's, are you natural, or are you I can't remember. Yeah, or something like that. But like, basically, it's a big talk whenever you see someone. They're like, are they natural, or are they taking something? And here's the thing: Marvel doesn't give a shit, because Marvel is trying to sell you a movie, and they want everyone in the audience to be fucking moist, the men and the women. So they want the men to look astounding, and they want the women to look astounding. I want everyone in the audience to just be like, I can't wait to see the next one. And they don't care what they do to their actors. And here's the thing: as an actor, they come to you and they say, hey, this is your big break, right? Take these meds, do this lifestyle, don't eat the things except for we tell you, stop drinking, right? And you're going to make a lot of money, right? But even the thing, Chris Evans was quite content to leave the world of Marvel movies, because I saw an interview with him where he was talking about how he was tired of the lifestyle. He was just tired of having to, because it's that on top of it. So is it good? No, it's not good. Do I care that these actors do it to themselves? No, because that's what they want to do. They want to be in these movies. They want to make money. That's their career. Does it suck? Yeah. Listen, was it Cumberbatch? Cumberbatch had to get like super fit to play Doctor Strange. And I was like, why? He just has to be a skinny dude. I don't even think that guy ever takes his shirt off.
Well, and for me, I don't care in terms of, they shouldn't do it. It's not, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
What bothers me is it has created this homogenous look where they all just kind of fade into each other, because they all look the same.
But every time this happens, eventually someone's going to break it, and then someone's going to be like, isn't that refreshing? This is the whole Jack Black. Jack Black still has a career. You know,
I like this guy because he doesn't look completely roided out. I'm not saying there's no enhancement.
No. I think that when that guy gets his shirt off later on in that movie, I think he's going to be completely roided out. I don't think people know any other way to do it at this point.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the pictures of him training for this with his shirt off.
Who is the last actor who I thought looked really, really good without being roided out? I can't remember because, I mean, there's just so much.
Jeez, that's a good question. Probably some of the 13th Warrior guys.
Yeah, because those guys, I mean, they're big.
Those guys looked big, but they weren't,
Yeah, and that's the thing is that it used to be that you could be pretty fit without, being cut. I mean, that's the other thing, too, is... because I talked about Henry Cavill earlier. Cavill, when he did Witcher, Cavill takes all this fitness stuff very seriously. A lot of them do, but he also did his legs. Hugh Jackman also did his legs. They all have great legs because they did a lot of deadlifts. But when Henry Cavill was doing the bathtub scenes in Witcher, he had to go through that whole dehydration process, which is so bad and so uncomfortable. And the terrible thing is that when you see them looking like that in movies, you know that they are massively uncomfortable. But it looks really good on screen. And it's that kind of thing is that nobody looks like that on a regular basis because it is an unnatural, trick that you pull on the body of basically just getting all the water.
Here's the easiest thing for people to do if you've never really looked into this. Go watch some of the World's Strongest Man competitions and look at those guys. Because they do not look like the movie guys, and they look great.
There was a show you could watch that was basically about the 4 of the strongest men in the world, and honestly, all it was them fucking around and going places, and then having random strongman events.
I know this. I never watched it, but I know the show you're talking about.
Oh, it's amusing as fuck because these guys would basically go to a rib place and eat everything. I mean, they're desperate to maintain the amounts of protein. To keep their body
I love World's Strongest Man competitions. I watch them all the time on YouTube.
Yeah, and then they would have those a French throwing contest.
Oh yeah. And they have huge guts because it's not all just cut abs. I mean, not huge guts, not me. I'm just saying they're big in the center.
No. Here's the thing: your ab muscles, right? When you use them a lot, they grow. You do get big ab muscles. And, if you don't have them completely, if you aren't 100% on your diet, you know what? You're going to get a layer of fat on that. And if you've got huge ab muscles and you've got a light layer of fat on that, it looks like you got a keg. And a lot of these big builders, they got a keg on them because they have these huge ab muscles that are there so that, their body just doesn't collapse when they lift some fucking heavy shit.
All right.
And they, I mean, they have abs, but that's not the kind of that's not what they're doing with their body. They're going for power. They're not going for looks.
So the current guy is Reno Nell is his name.
He's a bit roly-poly.
Let's see. Reno Nell, South African. I was going to say he's either going to be Nordic or South African because those guys seem to be just. And you look at him and he is big as shit, but he doesn't look like a Marvel guy. He looks like a real person.
No, honestly, Eddie Hall. Go look up Eddie Hall. That's a really good example. Eddie Hall is fucking strong as fuck, and he is 400.
Okay.
He is 400 pound, but he's like there's a
little. He's a thick guy.
He's a thick guy. Yeah. So, holy shit! Who the hell is that big fucker? Oh my god, that guy makes Eddie Hall.
Are you looking at World's Strongest Men stuff?
No, I saw something of Eddie Hall, and he's standing next to this guy who's fucking 3 feet taller than him.
I mean, this is the kind of people I want to see in these movies. I want to see people who look.
Oh, you remember the
less architected? I guess.
Well, but that's the thing is the artifice of the movie is architected.
No, I know.
So especially with the level of control. If you want something like that without that level of control, then you got to find movies that are further and further out from any kind of franchise.
That's right. But I'm
mean?
sending you a picture of, I am sure that somebody would look at the guy to the left of that picture and be like, "Oh man, that guy must be really tubby." It's like, oh yeah,
or, you know what?
He's lifting those fucking stones, man.
I look in the mirror and I always say to myself, I look tubby. I'm a thick guy. I'm not slim, you know. And then my wife is like, yeah, you're not. She's like, you're like a bear. She's like, that's what you're like. She's like, and you know, throw things and, you know, there's never something I can't do, like lift wise.
Right.
And within the realm of the household, I'm not doing the strongman competitions, and I gave up on deadlifts because I had some issues with my spine, where my spine was like, do something else. So I do other lifts. But I never feel like I'm at a loss for strength, and I also know that a lot of this is good technique. So like, if you lift right, you will lift for longer. If you
that's the other thing about when people watch these sometimes, they're like, why do they have so much stuff on them? Like, that's so that they don't, you know, have a hernia in the middle of lifting that rock.
There's two schools of thought when it comes to belts.
Just all the gear, the wraps on the knees and everything.
Belt,
I'm like, that's the, you know.
Yeah, you wear a belt because you don't want to give yourself a hernia, because you're trying to support your ab wall. You're trying to make, you know.
Yeah.
I'm from the school of thought that's like, train your abs up so that you don't need the belt. But I'm also not doing astronomically heavy weights. These guys are going so far beyond what the human body can do that they need the belt to get there.
Yeah.
You know?
It's crazy.
Yeah, and plus mobility. Here's the other thing too. That guy Eddie Hall, he can't scratch his back. I mean, I shouldn't talk.
Yes,
I can't.
There is a thickness thing. But.
Here's the thing, right? Can you scratch your back at all?
Oh, I can easily, because I'm not jacked.
That's what I'm saying. So you can scratch like the middle of your back.
Oh yeah, I've got both my hands. I can get my hands past the middle of my back to about. I can go one fist past my spine.
Oh my god, I can't get.
Well, you're a barrel. I'm not.
I can't get past like I can get my hand just to my lower back, just barely behind me, but like I can't get it up my back. Like, my wife laughs at me because if I get something, like there's a really great.
You
joke.
look like a turtle trying to flip over.
Yeah, there's a really great joke, and if you lift it with a bunch of people, somebody will get like a piece of tape and they'll stick it right between somebody's shoulder blades,
trying to take it off,
and they can't get it off because you can't. You know, then you literally start rubbing your back against the wall like you're a bear. Sure. But the thing is, these are different builds, right? So a bodybuilder is not a power lifter. I'm not saying that anything is right or anything is wrong. These are just different, in the same way that, you know, different cars are built for different things. I say to my wife all the time, I was like, I am not a sports car, I am a forklift. So I'm going forklift speeds. But that's the thing, right? And I think with these movies that we watch, like I said, it's all artifice. It's all created, you know? I think that Hemsworth is more healthy now than he was when he started, because he has more control over his career and his body. And, I mean, he's turned his kind of all this into like a fitness thing for him. But there's a really great guy. What's his name? Gronk? Not Gronk. Rolk. That's his name. Rolk. Let me see if I can find this guy so you can look at him. Because this guy is somebody that, if you're interested in kind of everyday fitness. Okay, so his name is Darulk. So if you look up a guy named DA space RULK, and look at some of the things this guy does.
Spell it again? Hold on.
It's DA space RULK.
Oh, space. That's what it is.
Yeah, Darulk.
I thought it was like a single name, like Cher, Darulk.
Yeah, no, Darulk. What I like about this guy is
Jesus.
he's very strong, right?
Yeah.
But this guy,
he looks like he's 2 feet tall.
He's really short. He focuses on mobility. So, like, he has these workout videos, you can watch them, where he does all kinds of weird shit that basically makes it so that you can maintain, like, mobility through your body as you get older, and also because if you're a heavy lifter. Because the thing is, it's so easy to just not do the movements that you need to maintain everyday mobility and just be like these jacked guys that can't move their arms.
I just saw that he's an Iron Neck ambassador, and I'm like, that's a hell of a title to have. Iron Neck ambassador.
I stopped doing Iron Neck exercises. I did those for years.
Oh, is that a thing?
It is. And you wear. Okay, so
I don't. How the fuck?
Okay,
look,
so,
I know nothing. Jesus Christ.
So the thing is, neck strength is important for a lot of different things, and So, for example, you probably haven't watched
Guys,
it. But
just so everybody here is aware of our fitness differences here. Bench pressing for me is lifting my 70-pound dog into the back of the car. That's it. That's as much as I ever do.
I think
Orlando has a fucking gym in his house.
I do. I do. It was the garage. Let's be clear. It didn't take over a room. It was the garage.
No.
It is.
It doesn't matter what it is. You have a gym.
But I did finish it. Yeah, I did finish it and put floor down, so I do think everyone should be able to bench press their own body weight. I think that's important. Just lost my train of thought. Where were we? We were talking about the roll.
I will end the suspense, everybody. I cannot.
Oh, the neck thing. So basically, you put this thing that almost looks like a crown from like Conan on your head. This is the one that I had, and it's got chains on it, and you chain it to weights, and you basically like kind of bend over, and all you do is you kind of lift your head to the side, or lift it up, and it builds the neck muscles in the back of your neck, which can help with all kinds of different fitness. It can help in martial arts because people can't get hold of your head as easily. In driving, like F1 drivers have to do this because the G-forces that gets put on their necks when they're driving is so immense that you can actually pull your neck. So let me see if I can show you what that looks like so you can laugh. F1 neck training. Here you go. Type in F1 neck training into Google, and I think it's the first picture will give you an idea of how nuts some of this shit is.
F1
is it the guy?
Here it is.
Is it the guy on the bench with the huge thing on his head and the weight hanging off of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because the G-force.
Oh, for G-forces. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of reasons to train your neck. And the thing is, I think in our everyday lives, you should identify the things that you do and then train specifically for those things, which is where I'm at my life now, where I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't need to train my neck. I'm not an F1 driver. I did in the past. I don't need to do it now. I train the things that I do. Like, I still shovel a lot of snow. I still want to run around with my kids. I still like to pick heavy things up. Yeah. But it's a level of honesty where you basically have to be honest with what you actually do in your everyday life and then what you want to be capable of doing. A lot of people go into it going, I just want to look good. You're like, well, that's bodybuilding. It's different. If you just want to look good, you don't need to work as hard as some of these fucking power lifters who are going well above and beyond what body could. I don't want to say should. You can do whatever you want with your body. Well beyond what I would do with my body. So, anyway. But if you're interested in fascinating conditioning, mobility workouts, check out this guy, D-A-R-U-L-K, Darulk. I still do some of the stuff that I learned from him. And there's stuff of his I can't do. I physically cannot do it. My body just doesn't want to go in that direction. He has this thing where you're like in almost like a push-up position, and then like you, with your one hand and your one foot on the ground, you like turn your body and like kick your leg out like it's a dance move. I can't fucking do that. Yeah, I'm probably
I can't do any of it. So,
wow. But you could. I mean, the beauty of fitness is anyone can do it.
I'm sure I could.
But this goes back to the Marvel thing where but you have to do it. Like,
sure.
This is what I love about fitness. You don't get fit unless you do something. So, regardless of, what you want, it's whether you put the work in. So when you see these people in these movies, it's like, yeah, did they get help? Yes, but they still do the work. Did they get there faster than the rest of us? Probably. They had trainers. They had. Do you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No, I never liked that show.
No. But you know about the guy who got super jacked just for the joke of it.
Nope. I know nothing about that
really?
show. I watched
Okay,
one episode and I went, yeah, this ain't for me.
Okay, so one of the guys in that show was like real tubby for a while, and then he thought it would be funny to get super jacked as like a joke in the show, right?
Uh-huh.
And they basically got, they got the show to pay for it, and he got super jacked, and it became this kind of big running gag that he's like super, super fit. And he was very honest about it, where he was like, hey, you want to look as good as me? He's like, get a corporation to pay for you to have a personal trainer and a private chef and, and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, he pointed out how absurd it is and how much work it takes. And for an actor, it makes sense, because if you're an actor, you want to look good. If you're a power lifter, you want to lift heavy. But most people don't need to be that jacked unless it's your hobby, unless it's your interest. And the joke of it is that most women, most men, unless it's a thing, they don't really care. I don't lift anymore for my wife. My wife doesn't give a shit. She really doesn't. She's the only thing she said to me that if tomorrow I drop dead, I mean, honestly, she always says to me, if you drop dead, I probably won't bother. But if I drop dead, and I said, yeah, and if you drop dead and you wanted to find somebody else, she said that my forearms have caused a problem for her, because she actually walks around thinking, why are these men's forearms so small? And that is one of those weird things that I train specifically, and I have for years. Like, I have I have Popeye forearms, and I like it. I think it's amusing to me when I look in the mirror, because I grew up with Popeye,
Sure.
But I do think that I look a bit deformed because I train them so often. But my wife is like, yeah, I'm used to that. She's like, now I look at men and I'm like, why are your forearms so little? Other than that, she doesn't care. Luckily, women love us, despite all our eccentricities.
Good thing.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, yeah. Sorry, I just went off on a tangent.
It's okay. I found these bass tones and I'm having a lot of fun with them.
I know. Wander off.
No, because this is... I've always wondered how you make these noises, like these low bass tones that just go on. Because I don't know anything about music, so just fucking around with this, where I'm like, okay, now I can press these two buttons and go... And it's got a bass tone. And I can kind of go, hold on, up and down, and kind of have them in sync. Like, this is like baby's first keyboard. It really is. I'm like a fucking child over here. But
yes.
Like, okay, I'm starting to figure out how to put these two devices together, sort of. Where, like, they can complement each other. Like, I'm starting to sort of get it. Anyway. But now you can see I'm better at doing it and listening and talking. I'm getting better. I can do it.
It's like driving and having a conversation.
Well, the thing is, I think I've said this before. People... I wish I was ambidextrous. If there's one skill I really wish I had, it was equal skill with... And I know somebody's going to say, well, you could... Yeah, I understand. I have a million things to do in a day. Training both hands to be equal, it's not a top priority, or at least it wasn't, but maybe through doing this.
I mean, yeah, but the problem is your dominant hand has such a lead. I mean...
Boy, yeah, it does in almost everything, although strangely, and you probably have this too, my non-dominant hand has a real lead in certain specific but non-top tier things.
So I'm
much better about carrying things and being agile with my left hand, even though I'm right dominant.
Well, I'm right dominant. I drive mostly with my left hand.
Yeah, like that.
I think my left arm. I think my left arm is stronger, but I think my right hand is stronger. So it's a
well, I don't know. My right arm, because man, oh man, I have really. I'll tell you what. Not that I think this is a reality, but with the paint and having to grind paint with the brush a lot and getting the pain in that arm, like this is like training pain. So I'm like, I'm waiting for my arm on the one side to be double the size of the other one.
Have you ever seen the arm wrestling guy who only trained his one arm because he did?
Yeah, yes, shit? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and he's got this one giant arm.
Yeah, like his shoulder is like twice the size of the other one, type of thing.
Yeah, it's really funny. He looks like Hellboy.
That's what I'm afraid, is what's going to happen from the paint, because God, I'll tell you, it really does kill your arm.
I think you're probably good. Don't worry.
I think I am too, but that's one of those things where I'm like, if I do this long enough,
this guy is what is his name? Matthias Schlitt. My God, that fucking arm is huge.
Yeah, that I have to be honest would really bother me. I would have to get my other arm to look the same.
Well, most
I could not handle that asymmetry.
Most people train, symmetrically.
Yeah, I couldn't stay like that. I would have a problem looking at myself more than I do now.
It's okay.
But that is one thing. Is it would be nice if I could have both, because I do. Some guy runs a red light and my arm gets sheared off. I'm not going to be drawing anymore. That's it.
Unless you really want to, get back to it. But it'll take.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it would take a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe I have enough hatred in my spirit to do it. It's possible.
Why does it have to be hatred? Why can't it be love?
No, it would be anger at the fact that I lost my arm would drive me more than. I'll be honest, I'm just being frank. I think hatred at not being able to draw would drive me more than loving drawing itself. I'd be so angry that I couldn't just draw what I wanted to, as opposed to craving the satisfaction. No, high octane hate works better for me. That would drive me more.
Yeah.
Spite is a better fuel for me when it comes to something like that. It would be pissing off the phantom limb. Or not pissing off. It'd be getting vengeance for the phantom limb.
Is there anybody who draws with a fake limb?
Oh, probably.
I wonder if you'd have.
Because an abstract artist could do it more easily.
No, sure. What I mean is if your arm was severed, there's various places on an arm that could be severed. But if you lost your arm.
No, I lost my hand. Yeah, I lost my.
No, if you lost your hand, even right, and you got a fake hand, I wonder if because so much of it is still in your arm and in your brain, I wonder if you could still draw with the fake hand, I mean, you'd have to train it, but...
I would imagine, honestly, in all honesty, I think you could probably get close. I think number one, it depends on the art. I think if you're doing paintings that are abstract and it's more about color use and shape as opposed to detail, it's probably easier to get back to that, because they do make prosthetic limbs that will respond.
Yeah.
But if it's something like I do that's really detail-oriented, I don't know. So much of how I do things is feel, and I don't know how they simulate feel. I don't know if they even can. I don't know. I don't know enough about prosthetics now to know that. It's possible. I would hope so. I mean, here's the irony. I'd probably be better if it was that good a prosthetic. I'd probably be better. Because there wouldn't be the brain-limb barrier there is now, where I can't get my limbs to do exactly what my brain pictures. Well, if it's going direct off brain impulse, and it knows what the brain is signaling,
well, I don't know if
it might be better. I might be better.
I don't know if it's that good yet.
I don't know, man. It wouldn't. Let's put it this way: it would be a great irony if I lost my arm, got a limb, and was a better artist than I was before. That would be something.
Weirder things have happened.
I know, but I'd have to look and be, God, why didn't I cut my arm off sooner?
I know that there was many years ago there was a long distance runner.
A point to this discussion? Yeah.
No. There was a long distance runner who he was in the mountains and he stepped on a loose boulder and it swung around, and when he fell, the boulder rolled and landed on his leg and pinned him.
Ooh.
And then I think he had his cell phone. He's able to call for help, and they got up there and they had to there was a whole bunch of people that had to lower him down. And I know for I think it was for a year he had this what was essentially a dead leg. The bones had been shattered. They could not put it back together. And I think after a year he was like, you know what, just cut it off. And they were like, and everyone in his life is like, what? And he's like, yeah, you know what? He's like, prosthetics are really good.
Dave Mackey is the person you're thinking of.
There you go, yeah. And he had them remove his leg, and he trained himself to run again on this prosthetic leg, and he, got back to fitness.
A year and a half of surgeries, recurring infections, constant pain, and only being able to walk with a limp. He decided to get the leg amputated below the knee.
Yeah.
Now, did it actually get him back? That's the question.
He did. Oh, yeah. He basically
okay.
was on a prosthetic, and he just started going back to running. I mean, it took a while.
Wow.
You got to adapt to it. I mean, that's the other thing. It's not like he did it overnight.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
But, I mean, this is the whole putting in the work. This guy wanted to do this. He was focused, and so he got himself back to long distance running. I mean, he's in a different kind of grouping now because he's on a prosthetic leg, but he's still doing it. He didn't let it stop him. And I think that's the thing, is that very often in life we let things, rather than readdress what it is we're doing, we let things destroy us. And in this guy's situation, he lost the thing he wanted, and he said, "Well, how can I readdress this?" And it took a hard decision, and he was like, "You know what? I think I can go further without the leg." And he did. It's it's a weird act of will.
He had people sign his leg before it was cut off. Man. And they said it looked terrible. So that's fascinating.
Why did they sign it?
I was the last one to sign his leg before it was cut off. It looked pretty angry and painful.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if they say
honestly,
why.
You know what? Is a terrible question, but I wonder if he got to keep the leg in like a jar. I would want to. Just have it floating there. That must be weird. To have a big part of you like in a jar, just look at it and be like, that used to be attached to me.
Maybe they meant to say see his leg and not sign.
Yeah.
Because the next sentence is, it looked pretty angry and painful. Maybe that was supposed to be C, and that was a typo. Because why would you sign it?
There's some short documentaries you can watch about this whole process.
I mean, this is a very, very long article that I'll link to about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was so fascinated by this guy's whole process and how he got the decision and how he kept going. I mean, that's the thing is, when he goes on these long-distance runs, he's on his own. And that's what he liked doing. He liked getting out there and just, breaking away.
Yeah. The last runner to beat the 25-hour cutoff, he ran 100 miles. Jesus.
Is that pre or
no,
post
post
leg?
That was post.
Yeah, there
he
you
said
go.
It was tough.
There you go, yeah. He just kept going.
Yeah.
So good for him. That's that's kind of the determination we should all have in our everyday lives.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, yeah, I have this sticker in my gym that my wife hates, but I actually think it really works for me, which is the nobody cares, work harder. And to me, it's the whole nobody's checking your homework. Nobody cares if you lift weights. Nobody cares if you exercise. 'Cause at the end of the day, like, my wife is going to love me no matter what, to some degree. But
you could just shorten that sticker to nobody cares, and it would cover so much ground.
I know, but the thing is, it's up to you to work hard for yourself.
No, I understand. I'm just saying it's the same. It's the same thing, but you don't need to work harder. It's just nobody cares.
Nobody cares nobody cares about you being fit. It's up to you to do what your body would want. So, and this guy, this is what he wanted to do. It's not like his wife was like, "I liked you more when you were a long distance runner." Honestly, it was probably one of those weird decisions where he's like, "Hey, I want to talk to you about something," and she was like, "Yeah," and he was like, I think I might cut the leg off," and she was probably just sitting there like, "What?"
Well, you know what? Actually, she probably wasn't, because if you're talking a year plus.
Yeah,
and you're
but the first
having
time,
to have surgeries. You're in.
Listen,
I
know, but the first time he brought it up, I mean, listen.
You know what?
I'm sure you've said some harebrained shit to your wife and have been like, "What?"
No, but if my wife had something going on and it had been a year and she's in pain and having surgery and she said that, I wouldn't blink. I'd be like, "Whatever you need to."
I know, but the thing is, most people don't think cut it off. Like, you know what I mean? It's just not the natural.
I think that to me would be the more amazing thing. I'd be like, okay, if you think so,
listen. The amount of shit women have to go through to get breast removal, where they're like, "Are you sure?
Yeah.
You should talk to a counselor." Like, it's just funny.
I mean, anything.
Vasectomies.
A major surgery.
You know what? I recently found out. It was in Ireland. I think if you go to get a vasectomy, like, they try to talk you out of it. They tell you talk to a counselor. You can't get a vasectomy unless they talk to your wife. Like, she has to be on board. Like, that's very funny to me because I have the same, like when I went and I got a vasectomy, nobody cared. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm doing this. And they were like, okay. But apparently there are other places where if you do that, they're like, no, we want to talk to your wife because this is a group decision. I'm like, I guess. What?
A group decision. Would I consider that I don't think I ever consider something that's not my body a group decision. Unless it's completely unwarranted.
They don't know that, but apparently yes. And I don't know if it's like that anymore, but yeah. I mean, Ireland is also used to be very, kind of.
Well, it's more religious. I know that generally, or it used to be. I don't know if it is today. But
I don't know what's going on now.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah.
But yeah. I mean, this. You know what's funny? Me complaining about the idea that I have to ask somebody else about my balls, I think is the same thing as women being like, "Why can't I just have an abortion if I want?"
Oh, and they're right. That's why I said it's not a group decision in my mind.
Should.
It's like your body, you do what you want.
Yeah,
unless
and that's what guys are like. And I hate to say this.
If my wife came to me and said, "I'd like to implant soap bars into my butt," I'd be like, "Okay, maybe we should talk about what the reasoning is." Right? Okay. Like outside of stuff that just seems like galaxy brain. You had to
so immediately go to something where I was like, soap bars? Like, I mean, I would...
Right. But that's how far out it would have to be for me to ever step in and say, okay, we might need to have a discussion about this.
No, but if the argument's very often made, well, it's my child too. And you're like, well, it's not really, like, it's not, because they're carrying it. It's not like you fucked somebody, and now they have to deal with it for the next 9 months, and then, squeeze it out of them one way or the other. That is a immense, traumatic process to which you are involved for, depending on how long it took you, anywhere from 2 minutes on, right? And it's like, even if you're helpful, listen, when my wife was pregnant, I tried to be as helpful as I could, but at the end of the day, I'm not the one sleeping with a fucking bowling ball in them that's kicking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the way I always saw it was, I can disagree with you, but at the end of the day, my vote is minor because it's your body.
Sure.
In the same way that if I want to get a vasectomy, I can. And if you disagree with it, then we don't have to be in a relationship. Which was not my situation. I think my wife wanted me to get one for a while. And I was like, you know what? I don't feel like it. I don't feel like the process. I wasn't a big fan of the process.
Okay. I will say.
Yeah.
The soap bar butt implant, right? So that was my idea for a show title, but I'm like, that's too wordy. So I looked up the technical terms for soap. Meaning soap used in the shower specifically, not just soap generally, and butt augmentation. And the process of making a non-toilet soap bar, whatever that means, I guess for shower, is saponification. And butt augmentation is the medical term is gluteoplasty. So the show title is now Saponified Gluteoplasty, which is much more elegant than soap bar butt implants.
And let me tell you, the shit that people put in some of these butt implants is frightening.
Oh, what? And see, this
you read about these?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's crazy.
It's cowboy, some of the crap they put in there.
But that was to your point about.
Yeah,
it would have to be something drastic where I would have serious concerns about the health impact, where I would say, okay, we may need to sit down and discuss this.
Maybe we should talk about this,
Maybe we should discuss why and who is suggesting this.
Well, it's the why, isn't
it? That's it.
Why do you want to do this? Yeah. But there's some stuff that you kind of get it, where you're like, oh, no, I get it. Yeah.
Listen,
and that's what I mean is that...
If my wife was having constant back problems and wanted to have a drastic breast reduction, I'd be like, do it. I don't want you to be in pain.
But you know what? If she was having massive back problems and she turned around and she was like, I want to remove my legs from like mid-thigh down.
Yeah.
You would be like, honey,
then I would say, are there other alternatives involved?
I don't know if that's what's going to help your back necessarily.
Can I speak to the doctor who recommended to do this to you? And are they in an office or are they working out of an oil drum that's usually on fire to heat people? What is this?
Yeah. I can only speak about this from the Spanish community, but there's a lot of Spanish people who get really fly-by-night doctors to do like weird implants and stuff like that. And like I've just heard about it a lot. In and around.
And I can only speak this from the paranoid community, but if my spider sense starts tingling, I'm like, okay, I have to ask questions now.
I mean, some of the stuff that I hear about, I'm just like, what the fuck? Yeah. And then like when you read the news and some of these things that, you've heard that they put in. I mean, wasn't there somebody who put like hole filler in a butt implant or something like that?
Yeah. People die. I can't remember, somebody rather high profile died, and they found out that it was something like not hot glue, but something like that.
Yeah,
and it was just terribly toxic. You know?
Yeah, there was a woman.
There was a guy who did a ton of procedures.
Flat tire sealant. That's what it was.
Oh God!
Patient has buttocks injected with flat tire sealant, cement, and mineral oil by fake doctor. What year was this? This is in 2011. There you go. That's what I remember.
It probably wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. The victim paid $700 for the buttocks filling injections. A toxic cocktail was injected into several sites around her buttocks with a type of lube. When the pain became unbearable, they reassured the woman that everything was fine. Oh, God. I mean, that's the worst.
You're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What do? Did they take it out? I mean, now I'm sitting there going like... and there's nothing in the article. Damn it. This is my whole problem where I want to know what happened. Did they get the filler out? Can they walk now? Have they learned that $700 for a buttocks injection is not a good deal?
Uh-oh! Couldn't tell you.
Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, here you go. This is...
Yeah.
Oh, no, apparently the fake doctor got 8 years. Or 10 years. There you go.
Really?
Yeah. Fake doctor gets 10
that's
years
good.
for bogus deadly butt injections.
Ugh.
In South Florida.
Would be my response to, you're putting sealant in my ass?
You know, I think we talked about this. Like, fake boobs, like breast implant. I understand that there's a time and place where people get them because, you know, they've had breasts removed for cancer, things like that. But people who've had just like breast implants because they want bigger boobs. You know, I've handled these before, I guess is the word to use. And I think they feel terrible. Like, it feels like there's something awful, like there's something hard in your boob.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
So I'm pretty sure you mean on a person as opposed to in a store somewhere. But the way you said that was almost like you went into a shop and we're like, oh.
No. No.
I was 90% sure of that.
Yeah. But it's the whole. I never understood it. Actually, like, I never understood what the draw to it was because I'm not a huge. Like,
wow.
That's not in my realm.
That's the draw.
Yeah, but it feels weird. Like,
it does. Yes, I had somebody who who had it done. This is many years ago, so I don't know how.
Oh, was this the whole thing where they were like, "Hey, handle them. Don't they feel real?"
Well, I had said I was kind of. It wasn't really that. It got to that, but my initial point was, well, does it feel weird to you because it's a different weight? No, I was kind of getting into the science. Like, what does it feel like for the person? And, you know, and she was going on about it and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I mean, if they, you know, if you're happy with them, she's like, well, I think they feel real here. And she took my hand and put her on one. And I'm like, oh. And I was very nice. I was diplomatic.
I don't think they feel real.
They didn't. But I didn't. Okay, I will say this. I thought it would feel faker than it did. But at no point would I have confused it, I don't think, with a natural breast.
Yeah.
There was something to that. I don't know, the viscosity. Is that the right word? There's something about
density?
it.
Something about the density.
Well,
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I hate to make this analogy.
Yeah.
I really do, but it's the only thing I could come up with that's similar to something I've experienced.
We're in a
safe
space.
You know how waterbed, when you kind of move it, it has a flow?
Yeah.
You could tell that there was something resisting, whereas a natural does not resist that way. You know what I mean?
Yes. I get it.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that natural breasts are waterbeds.
Yeah, and here...
I'm not saying that. It's not what I'm trying to get at. But you can tell that there's kind of there's a lack of resistance to it. The way that this had a bit of a pushback. It was kind of like, get off me a little bit. I'm like, okay,
no, but listen, people are entitled to do whatever they want with their bodies. This is radical freedom.
Yeah.
That's where we live.
I don't understand it either, but if somebody has,
you know,
Yeah, I don't want somebody to be unhappy, and if that solves a problem for them,
yeah, that's fine,
and it's done safely.
But for me,
that's the other point.
Me personally, it's not something I find
it does
physically. You know what?
Nothing.
They look. Here's the thing: they look fine if you get a good surgeon.
Sure,
they look fine.
Yeah.
They just feel weird. So
yes, that was the only circumstance I ever encountered. That was the only time I ever directly had hands-on experience with one. So I can't say. Yeah. One experience, and maybe that one was the surgeon. Maybe those were a 6 out of 10, and there are more expensive ones. In terms of quality, I don't know.
I've handled several in my life, and I didn't like any of them.
Yeah, I have not. I handled one, and it certainly wasn't in a romantic setting. So again, it was the entire thing was very bizarre.
You know
to me.
what? Actually, none of mine were in a romantic setting. So I wonder if in a romantic setting, like the hormones make you ignore it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you're like, you know what? It's good enough. Like if you get that kind of sex brain, like
I'll tell you what the thing that would even hormonally would be tough for me.
Yeah.
Is the scars that sometimes are there would bother me.
Oh, see, yeah, I have
the scar would throw those scars. No, because
you know what? There's women who get breast reduction and they have scars, and it's like I don't really care. It's just like.
I guess that's true. If I didn't know the difference, but then what? But then once you actually got a grip, you would kind of know the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
in a reduction as opposed to an
covered in
augmentation.
tattoos. I'm not gonna, begrudge some scars.
And I hate to say that, but I'm not. Some of the scars I have seen, you barely can see. That's not what I'm talking about. Some of them,
they do it. They
weren't done very well.
They do it under too. I mean, that's the other thing is they basically. Yeah. So for those who
isn't there the one that's on the nipple and then there's the one that's underneath? Right? Isn't there two ways to do it?
For those who've never encountered this, right?
I'm not a doctor, by the way, everybody. So I don't know.
I've had some personal experience with people in my life doing this, and basically what they do is they so if you think of if you're staring at a boob, right? They cut underneath and then they cut up from that cut to the nipple, and peel it open like a fruit, right? And then they decide what they're going to put in and what they're going to take out. If they're taking stuff out, I think there's a certain point where they can still keep your nipple connection, like the nerve to your nipple. If you go too small, they have to, I guess they have to remove the nerve to the nipple, and then they have to remove your nipple. And
I was going to say they'd have to take it off and put it back on.
And when they put your boob back together, they basically... they sew it back in. That's essentially what they do. They sew it back in. So it's a nipple, but it's not connected to anything anymore. It just looks like a nipple. It's like just, which is a weird concept in itself. We just sewed the nipple.
Yeah, it is because if there's just no feeling at all.
Yeah, well, that must be to the individual,
weird.
right? And then if you go bigger, that must be weird because they're stretching the skin, and then it's like putting too much shit in a suitcase. Right, you're not getting more skin. You know what I mean? So like they gotta jam it all in there, and then that must fucking hurt.
Yeah, I guess.
But let me tell you, it is not a pretty process. It does look fairly Frankensteinish through the process.
Any surgery that isn't one of like those little holes that a robot arm goes through, I imagine is not a pretty process.
Yeah,
any of them. So like liposuction. Is of all the removing stuff seems like the least but you got to look at it coming out.
There's a fitness guy that I like to follow. His name is Dr. Mike. He has a YouTube channel. He's funny.
Is he actually a doctor or is it just a?
Oh, he is. He's a doctor of like physical. What's it?
I didn't know if it was just like a title.
He is a doctor of like basically physical health, right?
Okay.
Not a medical doctor, but he is a doctor of.
I got you.
Doctor of working out. We'll call it that. But he's got a series of videos. He's quite funny. He's got good timing, right? He's got a sense of humor, and he is like a bodybuilder, right? But he at one point finally admitted the fact that he hated that he had like a lot of back fat and he didn't like it. And the thing is, he was a bodybuilder, so for him, honestly, it was very telling. The fact that he was like, I had this back fat and it made me feel so terrible. And I'm like, this is how bodybuilders are different from powerlifters. Because powerlifters are just like, I don't give a shit. As long as I can throw that thing, I don't care. Whereas bodybuilders are like, I want to look pretty. So he had a liposuction from his back. They removed all this back fat. And he described the process in detail, and I was like, man, there's no fucking way I am ever doing that to myself unless it's like life or death. Because he had to have like tubes in there to like drain the fluid out, and like, it was just, yeah. I'm one of those people that like, if you don't need to do something, then don't do it. That's me. Shit works fine. I don't need to cut anything open. Oh, no. Yeah, but the fact that he felt the need to go to that length because he didn't think that he was trim enough for bodybuilding, and that's to whatever god you serve, I suppose.
Yeah, but he does. Like you said earlier, I'm not going to tell somebody you can't do something if you want to, as long as.
But he does look good. I mean, listen, for a bodybuilder, he looks quite good. He's a small guy. Sure. He's funny, and he's got a great body. But I mean, I never thought that he needed to remove his back fat. That's his own.
Well, and that's where I agree with you. Is a lot of times I have not seen a case yet where I've gone, yeah, you should have done that. It's always
you should get rid of that
but you looked
back
fine.
Fat, you fatty.
It's kind of like actresses who get all this work done, right?
Oh, and you're like why?
Yeah, because even when you see them younger, like Jennifer Grey, right? The Dirty Dancing.
Oh yeah,
actress.
she
right?
Honestly, I didn't even recognize her after she got her nose job, and I was like, why did you change your look before?
I think she looked better before.
You were Jennifer Grey from Dirty Dancing.
Yeah,
now you're like some weird woman who has the same name.
Right. And that's what I mean is, in many cases, you sit there and go, you realize you're prettier than 90% of the populace already.
But this is the Marvel thing. This is what the Marvel is doing to men now.
Well, and then you realize, and that's what I was about to say was, then you think, some producer said, well, listen, honey, your tits aren't big enough for you to get away with that nose, so you better get some work done or you're never going to work again. This was a one-off.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is the acting industry terrible to actors? Yes.
Yes.
Are they still doing it? Yes.
Yes.
And I'm not going to tell them to stop. That's what they want to do.
Right.
Do I wish it was better for them? Absolutely. I mean, listen, most of the actors in my life that I've met are very, very, very tied into what people think of them. And they are the types that would probably, have back.
Whereas I would hope if it was me in that situation, I'd be like, look, asshole, I was pretty enough to be cast as Patrick Swayze's love interest, so go fuck yourself. Because clearly, if that's believable, I'm prettier than you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I do long
but is it the same? I can't say that's equal. It's easy for me to say that standing here, not.
I long for the years of Lee Marvin, where men just looked like fucking.
Oh, yeah. I don't mind. There is a.
If I had like a model growing up, I think we've talked about this before, but like men that like when I was a kid, I saw in movies and I was like, oh my god, that's a man. But Lee Marvin, man, I think Lee Marvin was my fucking model.
Oh yeah. Well, there is we've talked about this thing and there's been but I don't mind. I think there is a beauty in looking like your face was carved out of stone sometimes, and not chiseled, but meaning it looks like it came out of a rock. Like there is something when you watch these old movies and you see these leading actors who look like they may have taken a shotgun to the face at some point in their lives, and it's like, no, you know what? Yeah. It's you don't have to be completely seamless on your face.
No, it's the you're getting it less and less now because they want everything to be pretty, but like
that's a problem. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lee Marvin, Humphrey Bogart. These types,
but like the guy, what was his name? Michael K. Williams, I think, who unfortunately died pretty young. But he was Omar in The Wire. Had this massive scar down the center of his face.
Yeah.
You know what? Great actor. Who gives a fuck?
Oh wait, you know what? The guy from oh god, he was in like every movie, but he was the Russell Crowe's like valet in The Gladiator. He was like an Irish actor, and he had a huge scar on his face.
Oh yeah.
That guy was in fucking everything. I mean, this is the whole when you own your differences, suddenly you become special because nobody else has those differences.
Or like Tina Fey. Tina Fey has that scar on her face.
Yes,
who cares? She's funny. Gives a shit.
Yeah, but you know what? If Tina Fey was not funny, right? She would be sitting there going,
"Oh, she'd still be pretty."
Well, I know, but some executive would turn around and be like, "You ain't pretty enough," right?
No, I mean,
look, the horror of it.
Those executives are going to say that about anybody who's not 18.
Yeah,
and looks like they fell out of a Penthouse magazine. So,
actually, I had a funny thing happening. I've been watching Live at the Apollo, which is the British comedy series, and they had this comedian on, and she was talking, and she walked on stage, and she was kind of like she's in her mid-40s, and she didn't look like a traditionally.
Okay, wait. Yeah. Hold on, we have to hold on this. Yeah. There's a British version of Live at the Apollo.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called.
Because that's not what I grew up with Live at the Apollo being. That was the New York City thing. Holy shit. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's amazing, because if you say Live at the Apollo, that's not what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the legendary New York City black comedy thing.
British comedy, yeah.
Holy cow.
Oh, you should watch them. They're a lot of fun. They usually have 3 people on, and they're all good. But they had this comedian on. She was in her mid-40s.
Holy cow.
And I was looking at her, and I was thinking, you know what? She's kind of cute. I don't know why. I was just kind of... And then she did this whole bit about how she's a woman in her mid-40s, and she's invisible now, and all this stuff. And I was laughing to myself, because I was like, oh, it's funny, because I looked at her, and I thought, I think she's really cute. Because she's different looking. She doesn't look like every other, cookie cutter... and then she was going about how she was invisible. And I'm like, maybe she's right to people. There is a crowd that wants everyone to look a certain way, whereas I like people who look unique. So I thought that was amusing. But yes,
it's so funny that there's a second thing called the Apollo.
You should watch it. There's like 20 seasons of it. It goes back years, and they actually have a lot of really funny people on it.
I'm sure they do. It's just amazing because you say Apollo Theater, and I think of the Harlem Theater, which I've watched stuff from there, and it's great because they are fucking ruthless on people who bomb.
Yeah, well,
ruthless. This is the idea that you were watching that stuff. I'm like, what?
No.
Really? Okay.
No, but I did grow up watching the Def Comedy Jam. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I did too. Yeah. I grew up. That's why Apollo for me instantly I think of the theater in Harlem, not the British. That's why I'm like, did they move it to Britain?
I watch a lot of British TV. My wife is British.
Yeah, I've just look, I love British stuff, but I just, like I said, Apollo Theater for me instantly. I have an idea. Like I said, I grew up watching that shit too.
Now you have something else to watch.
That's boy. You couldn't talk about 2 possibly polar opposite things.
Oh, they are completely different. Just so we're clear.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, British people are the definition of white people.
Oh,
God damn, that's great.
Yeah, but what was funny is that the one I watched the other night, it was a German. Yes, so the first
maybe they're the definition of white people.
Was a German who was making fun of the Brits because nothing works, and then it was
nothing electrically.
A Middle Eastern guy who was making fun of the fact that everyone thinks that he's a terrorist, and then there was a woman in the middle. I can't remember what her name was.
It's funny you bring this up because I was listening to I was watching Trevor Noah's podcast, and he had which, by the way, I would highly recommend the John Oliver one that he did recently. It is amazing. And they were talking about the fact that all Americans think that like Trevor Noah and John Oliver sound the same. Like, oh, you're all British, right? You're from South Africa. You're British, right? Because the accent, they can't distinguish accents the way, which I don't know that I'm any better at distinguishing. I know there's like Cockney and that stuff, but I don't know how good I am at it.
Of accents that there are in England baffles me. But then, you know what? Yeah. I say that, but then I'm sure there's parts of the U.S. that I hear people talk, and I'm like, I don't know what you just said.
And this is, I was listening to something completely different by somebody who actually is a speech therapist in Britain. And what he was explaining is the thing that most people, unless you really get into it, don't realize, and this is a Patrick Stewart type of thing, because he was using Patrick Stewart as the example, is that depending on what Patrick Stewart is doing, he's using what's considered this, and I don't remember the name of it.
It's a posh English.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe that's it. It's what people, a theater British accent.
Yeah. It's
a very specific type.
It's a very upscale, elegant English. Yeah.
Yes, and so most people, their exposure to a British accent is that.
There's an actor I love. His name is Danny Dyer. I can't remember what.
Sure, I know who Danny Dyer is.
But he does this skit on this a British show where they were. he came out. They're trying to get these comedians to crack up, and he came on and was making them do a Harry Potter like mini play, right? Mm-hmm. And he put the glasses on, and he was being like a hard man's Harry Potter, and it is one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen. Is Danny Dyer trying to be Harry Potter, but yes, lots of different accents, and you know.
And I was aware there were different accents, but I didn't realize there was what's considered like a theater default British accent.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I mean,
that's a classic. Yeah. When you're classically trained, I guess, if you're a classic theatrical actor, this is one of the things you can just switch into.
How many movies or shows are you going to get if you can get rid of your Welsh or your Irish or your Scottish accent? Sure. You can sound more posh. I mean, that's yeah.
Because that's what people kind of expect.
Well, and it's the same thing in this country. You know, if you sound like a yokel, right? They want you to sound, you know, pronunciate and sound more, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Well, what would you consider our accent? Because we have an accent, right?
You mean you and me?
I don't think I have a Jersey accent, but I worry that my kids are getting one.
No, you don't. No.
You know,
no, I never really hear Jersey in anything you say. No. No.
But it's like, you know, sometimes when you get angry, you descend into kind of like a New York Italian accent.
That's true.
And what insolvent country do you come from?
New Jersey. I'm just a weirdo.
There you go. Yeah.
That's not a New Jersey accent either, by the way.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, no, I do. There's certain words I just say differently, even if I'm not angry. I'm trying to think. There's certain things I say, and I know right away that out here people are like, "Why are you saying it like that?" Or "What is that word?" Like a lot of people don't say "ain't" out here the way I say it, and don't use it. Or "idn't." I say "idn't" a lot. Nobody says that out here.
"Idn't"? What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Use that in a sentence.
Isn't it a thing that you would do?
Oh, well, I guess it makes sense there. Yeah, no, I get it. I hear it, yeah. I never used to say howdy until I moved to...
I say thing like somebody in a mob movie does a lot where I'm out here. I'm like, isn't that the thing, the thing I was talking about? I do that.
The thing.
Yeah, and that's that's a giddy thing. I
didn't say howdy till I moved to South Jersey, because South Jersey is like its own weird thing. It's its own weird state.
Yeah.
It's very Western.
Jagoff is Eastern.
My wife makes fun of me because I say asphalt.
Wow, I've never even heard you say that.
I say asphalt.
I don't think I've ever noticed you say it that way.
Yeah, they use asphalt in the road.
Yeah. Wow.
The letters are there.
If I say talk or coffee, sometimes people pick it up.
Talk.
I do say it. So I'm like, what are you talking about?
With me, my wife laughs at me because she'll hear me. I think we've talked about this before. When I switch over to Spanish, but I say words that are English, but I'm saying them with like a Spanish accent.
Sure. And I was going to say the only time I've picked up an accent for you is when you're speaking like Spanish and you're switching around. I can hear it.
Yeah,
that
was the word?
But that's not
the
Jersey.
Word no.
That's Spanish.
When you say no in English, it's like no. But when you're like talking Spanish, and it's like I can't even switch it easily. I have to be like kind of be in the string of it where it's like no voy a hacer eso. Like it's a different So it's funny. Like my wife picks up on that because she'll hear me talking to my mom. But
if I'm projecting how I say it changes. I'm like yeah, like it's short.
Yeah.
If I'm being louder, I'll be like, yeah.
It's like me saying mira to my mom. Mira. I think it means look, by the way.
And sometimes when I swear, you can hear it more. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like you can hear it there fuck. If I say that.
It's the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody says fuck like we do. Nobody.
Yeah, exactly. You have there's like that you feels like it's catching a lot of air.
You know what's a really good one?
As it
fuck
comes in.
you.
Yeah,
people hear it there. I'm like, you know what? Fuck you.
It's almost spelled P-H-U-C-K the way you're saying it.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Exactly.
And if I'm really angry, it's fuck you. I'll say it like that, and that's as close as I get to sounding like I'm like
I'd be
not
curious,
coming out of the Bronx or something.
Because supposedly there are international listeners, and I'd be very curious what you feel our individual accents represent.
The weirdest thing is I've had people out here tell me I sound like I'm from Chicago sometimes, and I don't hear that at all because Chicago sounds different to me than New York does. But I guess maybe if you're not used to hearing like different accents, you will start to mix it together.
I'll tell you, my wife
because
is British,
I think of what's his face. The minute somebody says Chicago, I think of the guy from oh my God, he was in Snatch, he was in Manhunter, he was in Crime Story. Daniel, oh my God, what's this? Farina, Dennis Farina, Dennis fucking Farina. That's a Chicago accent. You want to hear what that is? Listen to that fucking guy talk.
My wife is British, but she grew up near Boston. So, like, when she's in Massachusetts, she starts to pick up on a Massachusetts accent, and it's very funny. Like, she did have a Massachusetts accent. It's that she also had British parents, so I think that kind of, like... I think when there's a lot of accents around, it kind of... you get better at kind of matching to who you're talking to, whether you realize it or not. And that's actually something I've read about, that people who are multilingual or have spent a lot of time with a lot of accents in their life, they naturally, you're talking about the whole thing, people use like a posh English, right? You tend to try and match to some degree where you are, the social cues, right? Like you hear people talk and you kind of pick up on what words you can and can't say. I'll give you an example of something though that's interesting for today, is people who don't want their kids to speak their native language because they don't want them to have an accent. They don't want them to have a hint of an accent. So there's people who don't speak, whose parents don't teach them Spanish or Chinese or whatever.
I can't imagine what kind of problem that would cause for you today.
I know. But yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that I have any kind of Spanish accent. If I'm not switching, I don't think I have any kind of Spanish accent.
No, I don't. I mean, they'd look at you and they would know, oh, yeah, that guy's from somewhere. But I don't think they would.
Well, you know what? I get that, is that guy's from somewhere. Yeah. I get mistaken for Greek, Russian.
No, they would know that you didn't, grow up in Maryland. You know what I mean? You wouldn't come from a long line of the English who descended in the
Marylandians. No, I never grew up in Maryland.
Right? That's kind of obvious. Whereas I get mistaken for Spanish, which,
Oh, yeah, but Italian. Italian very often. I mean, if you don't hear people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Until I say, that guy's a fucking joik. And then they know, oh, wait.
Fuck. Yeah, it's the way you say fuck, honestly. It's fuck. It's the PH. It's a PH long U-C-K.
Yeah. And see, I don't think it sounds like anything.
That U. No, I know, but that U is trying to, like, pick up as much air as it can. I love it. I have, like, a visual. When you say fuck, I have a visual of what that fuck looks like.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like a whale breaching. It's a giant
And look, I'll be honest. If there's one class of words that I'm glad my accent falls into, it is swearing. Because that's what I want. That's where Italian really flourishes, in the swearing part. That's the good stuff. So if that's when it comes out, that should be a nice indicator of what's happening. Fuck yo. That.
Yeah, and nice. most people think of Scarface when they think of a Cuban accent, unfortunately.
Well, it's the most accurate representation I think we've ever had. So,
my wife didn't know about that, and I showed it to her, and I said,
"Oh, she'd never seen Scarface.
She never saw it. No." And I showed her, and she's like, "What is he doing?" And I'm like, "That's supposed to be a Cuban accent." And she was like, "What?"
But honestly, I don't think most people would know that's if they saw that, would most people who aren't Cuban or don't have anybody Cuban around them, would they ever know that's not real? Probably not. They might think it's exaggerated, but I don't think people
exaggerated.
No, seriously, I don't think that most people would not know that a person who was Cuban who just got off the boat might not sound like that if they just got here and they're speaking in English. They might think that's how it sounds.
No, they would definitely sound like that.
When I was young, I didn't know that wasn't right. When I'd seen clips from it and stuff,
I guess that's how Cubans sound. All right. That once you tell a lie and enough people believe it, then you don't know if it's true or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check your sources.
I mean, I might have. You could probably have told me that. Oh yeah, Al Pacino, he's a native Cuban. Oh yeah, I can hear it. That's what I would have said because I'm.
And what's horrible is that the guy who plays his brother is Cuban.
Yeah, I know. That's the hilarity. The hilarity of it.
And I think that he basically stupid. He shifted his accent to try and sound more like Pacino.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what are you going to do? You're not going to be able to. I mean, you're standing next to.
Excuse me, Mr.
I feel like I say do.
I don't think that sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to do that? I don't think so. There's very few people who are going to speak up about something like that. I'm just saying. It's a ridiculous. I should get a clip of it just to be able to play.
Oh yeah, when he says hello to that line. Was it my little friend? Whatever.
Hi, Poppy.
Oh, and that's
as Cuban as he is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's not truly a Hispanic woman saying that. No, because it's worse when they say it. That's like fingers on a chalkboard for me. Oh, God. That's the grossest thing. When I hear women say, I hear actual Hispanic women actually, say that. Oh, God. It's like women who call their husbands or our boyfriend's baby. Like that just starts to oh. Yeah. I'm really glad that I'm not on the dating market anymore because I have a feeling I'd be terrible at it. My heart goes out to all the single people out there who are dealing with the culture and trying to meet somebody because we are all so complicated.
Yeah. It's not good.
Oh God. Yeah. Oh man. I mean, this would be the worst too. You'd meet somebody and they'd be like almost perfect, and then they'd drop an eye poppy on you, and you'd be like, "Oh God." I was like, "I don't think I could do this. I'm sorry. It's not me. It's you. I gotta go." Yeah. These like horrible deal breakers, right? And it like.
What are you, Italian?
That one's not as much of a deal breaker. Unless you're like a juice head Jersey Shore type Italian, and then it is.
Oh yeah, and that's become its own thing.
There are those types.
I think that's fading out though. I don't think you get that as much now.
It's long, but it's fading out. But you can still kind of pick it up.
Juice
you still look, and that's just. By the way, that's just a new version of the '80s Italian with the wife beater and the little horn who has the V-neck down to their fucking navel. And he's like, "Hey, baby, what are you doing?" That shit's been around forever. Like Joey didn't bring that in for Friends as a new thing. That shit's been around.
You know what? I think there's always been some kind of Joey somewhere.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what we were watching. We were watching Bronx Tale. In the opening of that, there's a guy who's like, "Hey, get in the fucking car," and that's in the '50s. That's always been. Italians are no strangers to misogyny shit either. With the accent, that don't change nothing. It's still there. There's another one. Don't change nothing.
Don't change nothing.
You don't hear a lot of people say that. No. Or when I just change the TH of that into a D. I do that on and off for no real reason. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, that's why the study of language is so fascinating because, I mean, you don't realize it, but when you talk to somebody who has the same vocal cues, it puts you slightly at ease. So like...
Yeah.
If you were to meet somebody who grew up where you grew up and they talked like you, it would, on a level you were even unaware at.
I have an immediate level when we fly back to New York for Christmas every other year. Whenever we're someplace and I hear people talking, I feel better. Like I hear it and I'm like, there it is. It's like getting into a nice bubble bath or something where you're just like, And my wife, when we'll watch something with New Yorkers,
that sounds like some angry New Yorkers. I guess I'm home.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And like if we're watching a Yankees game and you're seeing the people going crazy, my wife's like, "Yeah, your people." I'm like, "My people." It's fucking great. I love them.
Yeah, I don't think I have I don't feel like I sound like I'm from anywhere.
No, not when you're speaking in just English. No.
Well, yeah. I suppose.
When you, I mean, I'm sure that. Okay, here again, dumbass can't tell this, but I would imagine that if you had a native Spanish speaker from Spain and then you had a native Spanish speaker from Cuba and they heard you speak Spanish, they will know the difference.
Okay, hold on.
Would they not know?
No. The Spanish accent from Spain is so immense. You would know the difference.
Okay, well, all right, then whatever one that's more subtle that isn't Cuba.
They practically spit at you when they're talking. It's a very S Spanish. You ever heard it? It's very lispy.
I guess not, because like when at the beginning of Desperado, when they're singing, you sound the same to that to me.
Okay, hold on. Yes, so Antonio Banderas is from Spain, right? But when he does those movies, he tries really hard not to sound like.
Oh, is he doing a posh Spanish?
He's doing a more Mexican accent on his Spanish.
Okay, then all right. So then he's not Mexican native and a Cuban native.
Yes. Yes, you know what? You'd have a harder time with a Mexican and a Cuban. Yes.
That's what I'm getting at. Whereas to me, I can't hear that difference.
When I was a kid, I used to watch movies from Spain with my parents, and I always used to be like, "What? Why is everyone so like lispy? Like it's a very spitty."
And see, to me, if I hear an R being rolled, I'm like, "Oh, Spanish." It all sounds the same after that to me.
Oh, Italians roll their R's. Go fuck yourself. Come on.
Well, you know what? Honestly,
you guys roll your R's.
Okay, I'm not saying that no Italians.
I'm not saying nobody rolls their R's.
I ain't saying nobody rolls their R's. I'm just saying that I wasn't around many of them when I was younger. That's what I'm saying.
But you know what? Real Italians from Italy roll their R's. They say some.
Actually, now you say that. I think my grandmother did roll her R's a bit, but not with the flourish and the finesse that I've heard Spanish speakers
I don't know. I see. And the thing is, I don't hear
I'm not saying it's impossible. I never heard much of it. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm saying I didn't hear much of it.
Is annoyed because they say they can't roll their R's. And I'm kind of like, but you know what? I guess it is because my brother can't roll his R's really well, and my mom like.
That's what I'm saying. It's not as universal as it seems. But if I, as a dumbass, hear a rolled R, my default is Spanish.
Yeah, you're going to get deported. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I would know the difference between somebody speaking Italian and Spanish after a couple of words, if they were the right words. But if I heard you and a Mexican individual and a Spanish individual and a couple other countries that speak Spanish, and I didn't hear them right next to each other, and I heard rolled R's, I'd be like, same accent. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference unless it was very, very exaggerated. In the same way that most people cannot tell the difference between the accents of, say, Long Island and, like, Queens, where Staten there is, Island. If you
Long
hear
Island
it.
And Staten Island, yeah.
Sure.
No, there are different accents in the boroughs. I mean, that's changing now with gentrification, but yes.
It is, but there's still a difference between Mario and Mario. Like, that's one of the easiest ways to hear somebody say the name Mario. Or Mario, or Mario. You know what? Mario and Mario. I will say
this, though. Years ago, this is years ago now, when I first started... When I first started writing a lot, I remember I went to one of my first writing programs, and there was a woman who knew that I was a non-English speaker, a non-original-born English speaker, from the way I organized my sentences in this fantasy novel that I wrote. And I was baffled because once she pointed it out to me, I was like, holy shit, you're right. And it was just, because the Spanish, they reverse the order of the subject and the subject and the verb.
Sure.
And I was
almost
doing that a little bit in my writing. But in my brain, I was like, well, I was writing it like it was a fantasy novel. So like to me, I was making it kind of more elaborate language. But in making it more elaborate language, I was making it sound more like, like it was Spanish, except English. So that was weird. And I've since made sure I don't do that. But yeah. Because, I think you read my book. My book didn't sound like it was all kind of weird and stunted.
No.
So, yeah. But that's it. Yeah. I think it's the only time somebody has been able to kind of, code me on that.
Yeah, for me, it's just here and there, and not very often because I don't curse a lot except at home. So most people aren't going to hear it too much from me.
You're not going to give them that much fuck in the workplace.
Or if I'm angry, because I was thinking, if somebody were to say something, like if somebody said, if I read something and somebody were to say, well, I think what he meant to say was, and it was something I was calling about. Like, oh, sure, I'm sure that's what he meant. But if I was angry, I'd be like, sure, that's what he meant. It's different. Just in that, it changes.
Well, and now you understand. Now you understand why there's posh British. There's proper, and then there's,
And I understood that there were differences in British accents, but I didn't realize that there was a core version.
Oh yeah, and when you watch a lot of British TV and you have people calling each other out, instantly knowing where they're from. And you're sitting there going...
I don't doubt it, yeah.
And you're like, oh wow. You're like, yeah, okay, that's a northern accent. Okay, got it. You know?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they give each other shit for it, which is funny, because you're like, I can barely hear this. I'm like, oh, but it is a thing.
Yeah, I'll be honest, a lot of times when people can hear accents slipping, I can't pick it up unless it's something really clear.
I can hear
very
accents.
Clear words.
I can hear accents.
I can hear them on some things,
Although,
but not on others.
I watched a really great thing with Gary Oldman about how he does certain accents, and there was this really funny thing he was saying where, was it Irish, the inflection, when you talk and you're using an Irish accent, it's like an upwards motion with the sound, where it's like with Italian, it's a downward motion. So he's talking about like playing an Irish mobster versus an Italian mobster, and he's like, if you're an Irish mobster, it's like you're, instead of going in Italian, it's forget about it. With Irish, it's forget about it. Like there's a different, like, I can't even do it. Like watching him do it was so crazy, but it's like he's like, yeah, Irish goes up, the inflection goes up, and Italian.
Well,
goes down.
Yeah, it's kind of like that with New Zealand and Australian accents. You can hear the difference in that most clearly in how some of the words New Zealanders tend to sweep upwards on certain words very, very sharply compared to Australians. That's about the only thing I can really pick up on it. I mean,
yeah, I'm sure there's a whole podcast about all the stupid sounds that Americans have.
I'm sure there's a whole goddamn.
What part of the South? You know what? Honestly, it must be something to sound like Matthew McConaughey, because he's got that kind of like nice Southern.
Well, he
sound.
Trademarked his thing so that AI can't use it. He trademarked his whole thing. Well, he trademarked his.
Was that
way
in
of
the
speaking.
script? His way of speaking? How can you trademark the way of speaking? He's just got a Southern accent.
Hold on. Let me see what he did.
I mean,
was that in the script? I don't know if he made that up. Matthew McConaughey trademarks way of speaking. I think he said there was two things.
That's just fucking weird.
Oh, whoops! I spelled that wrong. Trademarks. Trademark. Here it is. Trademark's iconic phrase. So all right.
But I guess, but the thing is, isn't that
his image and voice? No, it says image and voice.
But doesn't that phrasing belong to Dazed and Confused?
Well, I would the phrase, but not his way of saying things.
Oh, okay.
So there is a difference there. Whether it's going to be successful is,
I think honestly, from what I'm reading, this is just about dealing with AI and deepfakes.
Yeah.
And voice cloning, because I mean everybody wants to do. I mean, I just said Matthew McConaughey sounds great. People are going to want to voice clone that.
Yeah, I don't know how you would. I don't know how you define a trademark for sounding like that, unless nobody else sounds like him. I don't know how you do that. Yeah, clips including his famous catchphrase, all right, have been registered to the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
Yeah, we'll see.
Whether it'll be successful.
Is this like Paris Hilton trying to copyright That's Hot? I think she did, actually. Well, did she actually?
Well, yeah, that's a catchphrase, and I suppose you could... I mean, could you? Can you? Did she?
I'm looking right now.
God, that was a bunch of the same question 3 different ways.
Could
she? Could she? Did she?
Oh yeah, she did. She in 2007 she trademarked her iconic catchphrase, "That's hot," for various goods including clothing, electronics, and successfully sued Hallmark for unauthorized use on a greeting card. There you go.
Wow.
But see, that's more specific. For goods including clothing and electronics, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I guess.
Like, I wonder what Matthew McConaughey's is like. What it covers.
It's a great question.
But you know what? I don't give enough of a shit to look it up. So,
me either. And on that note,
200 hours later.
And that's your intro right there. That's the opener.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, well, we should probably start talking about movies, right? So hold on. Here we go.
Just give me the essence of the thing, the juice, you know.
You shut the fuck up!
That's become my mom.
See, white girls bore me.
You can eat shit and die, Colonel.
Oh, man. That fucking music.
I wish you luck.
Thank you, Doctor.
And try not to disappoint a filthy old Nazi.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that one. Yeah. You didn't realize what it was at first, did you?
At first I was like, oh, music. And then I heard the riff coming in, and I was like, oh, I know what this is. Oh, man. Jesus.
I think we should go in reverse order, though. I think we should review them in the reverse of what we watched them.
So do you want to review them in the order of least enjoyment for me, basically?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I shouldn't say that, because two of the movies that we watched this week, I actually really enjoyed them, surprisingly.
Sure. Yeah.
And there's only one that I was kind of like, what am I watching here?
Yeah,
so, and I take it that you know which one that is?
Yeah. We'll start with New York Ninja.
There you
because that one is the one that is the most enjoyment is based on knowing how it came about. Because this is a movie that is both from 1984 and from 2021.
Yeah, and
simultaneously.
And the thing is, if part of the enjoyment for a movie comes from the understanding of how it was made, and that without that information, the movie itself is kind of just okay. That works.
And one of the things I wondered about is if I should have waited to tell you.
If you hadn't told me, I would have enjoyed it a lot less.
Okay, then I'm glad I told you.
Because I thought about
I was kind of like, with that, you know. Okay.
So you should explain. You should explain about the movie so that people understand what we're talking about.
So, Vinegar Syndrome, who I just got my Tank Girl collector's edition from, which is awesome. Which is a much bigger set than I thought it was, which is great. And there is a new interview with Lori Petty on it, which I look forward to watching. But in any event, Vinegar Syndrome, I've talked about them a lot. They are one of a group of companies that try to find forgotten or underappreciated movies for good or bad reason and restore them and put them out. And so what they do, and this is pretty common with these companies, is they will often just bid on canisters full of film that may not even be labeled. And they'll just buy them in lots, and then they will go through them and try to determine whether they're even restorable, if they're in condition to be restored. And then they'll watch them and try to figure out if they're worth restoring, because it is a process and there's a lot of work to it. They actually have very good videos on their YouTube channel showing how they do it, and it's great. So they happened to acquire the film for a movie titled New York Ninja. And the thing that was unique about this compared to most films they get, from what I understand, is most films have sound. In some cases, there's scripts, there's, you have information to be able to figure out what the movie is, or it may be complete just in a really bad state. So it may be a complete movie finished, but in a very rough state from being stored improperly, and you could do a restoration. In this case, they had 4 to 8 hours, I don't remember what the exact number was, somewhere in there. They had a bunch of footage, but unlike most films, no sound, no information, a shooting script only, which can be drastically different from what the actual shot footage is. And they looked at this thing and they realized that it was an attempt at a vanity project by a martial artist named John Liu, who clearly was trying to make a demo reel film because he was working in martial arts films, but at a low level. And this was something that could move him up into making either American features or better features and trying to demonstrate his martial arts ability in a movie.
And to be fair, if this movie had actually come out when he made it, it would have been interesting. I mean, it would have mattered more for him, and it would have been interesting to see this guy in movies with other martial artists. I think one of the biggest weaknesses is that he's basically the only martial artist in the movie.
Yes. And so what happened was the development company that was going to distribute this thing went bankrupt, and so the movie was never finished. And the problem is that without the script and without sound, Vinegar Syndrome essentially had to try to lip read in this footage and assemble a movie.
But I looked this up, by the way. They did not use a lip reader. Okay. Apparently that they did not do that. What they did was they put the movie together and they said, what is it? I'm looking it up right now, just so I'm clear about it. He created dialogue, and kind of had it fit, but yet he did not use.
Well, yeah, because you can see it doesn't always match.
Yeah, because when you told me he had a fucking lip reader, I was like, what? But no, he did not. Hold on, I'll get.
Sorry, and that wasn't really what I meant. Was they were looking at their mouths to try to figure out how to get close to what they were saying. And in some cases, it does match.
A lip reader was not brought in to assist with the dubbing because the movie was unedited. A lip reader would have had to read the lips of every take of the movie. Instead, the editor cut the movie together first and then wrote a new dialogue to match the performance of the actors. The result is similar to a foreign film where the words do not always match the mouth movements of the actors.
Yes.
This was done to create a more coherent story and add to the fun of the film, which is why it feels very much like an Italian film. We were talking about this while we were watching it. Yeah, because a lot of the Italian movies are like that, where it's dubbed.
Well, and that's... They if you look, I even though they may not have used a professional lip reader, they clearly were looking at the mouths in some of them because they are matching what they're saying. But there's a lot of it where there's masks covering them, and then you can have it say whatever you want because there's nothing.
Yeah.
So that you just make up for whatever fits. But there are many cases where what they're saying are the words that the person on the screen is saying. So they didn't just make it up. They were looking.
It definitely looks like it. I mean, you know.
Oh, yeah. In some cases, it is literally what the person is saying. But in others, you could see where they veer off, where the person... their mouth is not moving in a way where you could read it. So it was, no matter what, it was a largely conjured narrative.
Yeah, and so now that you've set it up, here's the thing: is that. But
I want to point out, not only the voices, all the background audio. There was no audio.
Oh yeah.
So all the Foley work, everything had to be done and put into it.
It is an interesting art. I think I said to you at the end of the movie, it's an interesting art project. And now that they've done it, I hope that they use this to do it to a movie that deserves it. Because the thing
that's where there is a movie we'll be watching that is what you're talking about.
All right. So the thing with this movie is
it does exist.
It's not that I didn't enjoy watching this. There are definitely things in this that I'm like, okay, that's funny. It's that outside of, I think, 2 elements, I've seen this movie. I've seen 10 of these movies. I grew up watching these movies. Mm-hmm. So... the fact that they felt the need to manufacture this one, it's an interesting art project, but beyond that, I've seen plenty of low-budget martial arts, poorly done martial arts movies. What's fascinating with this movie is at one point there is a roller skating ninja. That I have not seen. That was fun. And the villain, who I guess is known as the Plutonium Man.
The Plutonium Killer.
Is so random and over the top he is probably the most unique thing about this movie. His whole murder,
he and his driver are
kidnap
an extraordinary twosome.
And the fact that he kind of verges between, being vicious and hilarious, that is one of the more fascinating things about the movie. When he is on screen, I am curious as to what's going on. But there's no explanation for his powers or what the hell he's doing.
No.
And his affinity for radiation and what it does to him.
Yeah, he's got a box of radiation that simultaneously seems to eroticize him and burn him.
Yeah, at one point he suddenly gets the ability to switch faces. Yeah. So, but beyond those 2 elements, and those 2 elements are amusing, right? Beyond that, I've seen this movie, it's nothing to write home about. So, watching this here, it is amazing. This is like when they recreate when Oliver Reed died before he finished filming. What do you call it? Gladiator, right? And when you look at the sequence that they did, you're like, you know what? It's impressive, but you probably could have done this. You probably could have done this in a cheaper way, and I would have barely noticed. And it's that kind of thing. Is that sometimes the process of what you're doing becomes more interesting than the thing itself. And in this case, for me, the process is more interesting. They brought in all these actors to do the voice work, and all of that is all really great. And honestly, you know what? I wonder if part of the reason the Plutonium Man is so good is because he is voiced by, oh God, what's his name? The hairless guy.
Michael Berryman.
Yeah, Michael Berryman, who has a very unique and interesting voice and way of, of enunciating things, speaking of, language. Yeah. So I wouldn't tell anyone to not see it. I just would tell people, be prepared. Lower your expectations. This is a low-budget martial arts movie that never got finished from the 80s. You've seen these movies. If you're like us and you've seen a lot of movies from the 80s and you like martial arts movies, you've seen movies like this. This is not bringing anything to the table that's going to blow your mind. The fact that they were able to create it is interesting. Beyond that, the movie itself, I mean, I would watch this with friends and laugh about it. Because they do some stuff where you're like, what? I mean, it's the ineptitude of some of this movie that makes it fun to watch. Mm-hmm. Which is the fact that you've got the same 5 guys doing like 4 gangs. The costume logic is insane. Go ahead.
I should also point out that for people who are into B movies, this is part of a subgenre of vanity projects known as, if you're a Red Letter Media fan, black tank top movies, which is where it's written, directed, and starring, which means that this was very clearly him trying to make himself a movie demo reel. Yeah, and those have a magical quality where there's kind of a delusion where as long as I look good, it doesn't really matter if the rest of the movie doesn't make any goddamn sense. And that's the problem is that
he's got really, the main guy, he's got really great leg work. I mean, his balance is fantastic, but the fight sequences are laughable because everyone is very obviously like waiting for their cue, and he's moving 3 times as fast as them.
He's very clearly the only martial artist in the movie.
Yeah.
And this is what I was saying to you and you see it get better. As the movie goes on, it does get better. But early on, you can see that he is trying very carefully not to injure somebody because he obviously does not have a huge cast of professional stunt people. He's got whoever he could get to be in the movie.
There was a point in this movie, and you can hear it in the commentary, where I was tired of everyone pulling guns on him and then not shooting. Not because I wanted him to die, but just because it was so contrived.
Yes.
So they're like, I've got a gun on you, stop! And then something would happen and they wouldn't shoot him. And there's a point in the movie where every time someone pulls a gun, I would just be like, shoot him! Shoot him! Just shoot him! Because it's I'm sure he could have been fun in somebody else's movie. But as his own director...
What is strange is that I'm pretty sure the driver guy could have done some fight scenes with him that would have looked better. And instead, he was
when he breaks out the drunk sword fighting thing, I just about fucking fell out of my chair.
And which we looked up. I looked this up. It is a real thing. It is real style.
I'm sure some version of it is a real style.
Yeah,
I don't
whether
know if
this guy was doing it, but
the
if
character
he had
whose
more
name
people, if he had 2 or 3 more people like that in some of those fight scenes, it would have been a lot better. And he just doesn't.
The character's name is literally Rat Tail and looks like Elijah Wood.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah. Oh boy, does he? Yeah. Oh boy.
So like I said, if you want to have a good time with friends and laugh about a movie, it's worth watching for that. Right? Yes. I had fun watching it with Joe, but I wouldn't watch this movie on my own.
Yeah.
I saw these movies when I was a kid. I'm good.
No, it is definitely the story of the movie and how it came about that is a huge part of it.
Yeah, and I'm glad that
if this was just a movie, it would be like, okay.
I'm glad that they did it. I mean, that's the thing is I show my support in the fact that they did it because at some point or another they're going to find a movie that really deserves it, and we're going to be kind of like, oh wow, it's incredible that you guys saved this movie. But I mean, but I don't know if this is the movie that needed to be saved. If anything, this feels like a rough draft.
Well, I don't know how many movies are going to give them this kind of opportunity. There may not be that many, and so maybe this is the first one they came across that
had all
that they could really create essentially their own movie out of, which is sort of it is an interesting thing as a creative challenge.
Do you remember the guy who basically took a martial arts movie and then edited himself into the movie and like redubbed all of it? Do you remember that movie?
I don't remember what it was called, but I remember the story about it.
It was called Kung Pao or something like that. Hold on,
it could be it.
And that was like a vanity project of his as well. Yes, it's called Kung Pao.
Yeah.
Yeah. where he basically edited the movie.
Which is amazing. It's an amazing amount of hubris.
Yeah, so he was the director. I mean, this is, I guess, one of those movies. He was the director, the writer, and the star. And he took a martial arts movie and he edited himself into it and then redubbed it all. Yeah, it was Kung Pao Enter the Fist. Odenkirk. Odekirk. Odekirk? Jesus. What was the original movie? Does it say?
Probably does somewhere in the connections or whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking to see.
It should say what the original was.
Yeah. Yeah, either way, yeah, he took an actual known movie and he edited it to make himself the lead. And you know what? I watched it once. It was mildly amusing, verging on annoying.
The original, by the way, is Tiger and Crane Fists, also called The Savage Killer, 1976 Hong Kong film.
There you go.
Yeah. Wow. So, yes, that's the one, which is amazing. But yeah, I agree. If this movie was just what it was and there was no backstory to it, very forgettable. Amusing for its weird elements, but not as much. I would recommend almost anybody who's into B movies watch this if that story sounds interesting, because it is astonishing that this thing was made at all, really. That they found this thing and put the effort into it. But, you know, you're not going to get blown away by it. I agree. It's not going to give you anything unique outside of its very existence, where easily this thing could have been thrown away and nobody would have ever seen it. The fact that they finished it is astonishing, because if you didn't know that, would you be able to tell? No. It does feel like an Italian film in the dubbing and everything else. But knowing that they did this from nothing except for the raw footage does make it, I think, worth talking about at least. So,
I enjoyed watching it with you.
Yeah, it's a fun one and done for most people.
Yeah, and it's not like it's not so bad it's unwatchable. I enjoyed watching it. It is funny, you know.
No, it's in fact amusing. It's shot very well. It was shot on film. It looks good. It does not look shitty. There's no scratches. Like it's good looking.
I mean, it's not as surprising as the other movie we watched that looked way better than it should have. But
yes.
But this one
you can watch it for free. It is on Fawsome, Plex, Pluto, Tubi, so you can watch it for free. and I would say that for B-movie and martial arts fans, you will probably have a fun time knowing that this movie was constructed only from footage.
Yeah.
It functions as a movie. It's an astonishing achievement in that way.
But I mean,
are you going to be shocked? Not by
the Plutonium Man. I mean, pretty much steals the movie.
He does, and like you said, the roller skates.
Yeah. Well, honestly, he should have roller skated the whole movie. I would have been so impressed. That would have changed it for me.
That would have been better.
Sadly, only the one part. Now, where do you want to go from
so
this?
We're going backwards. Yeah, so we're going to go with. Let's go with. All right. Well, I'll let you pick. Which one do you want to pick?
No. But that's fine. We'll go with Neon Maniacs. I think you want to leave Miami Golem for the end.
Yeah.
Neon Maniacs.
Boy. Oh boy. Yeah. So Neon Maniacs. I talked about this movie in 2017. So 9 years ago, I watched this movie and have not watched it since. And I don't remember what. I'm sure I didn't dislike it at the time. I probably was like, okay, this was fun.
I vaguely remember you being surprised.
Yes, because it looks really good for what it is. This movie also was a production disaster where it was never finished properly. It was...
Yeah, the whole ending is missing, which is why it has kind of a weird, like, ambiguous ending. It's an unintended ambiguous ending.
But you know what? I actually kind of like the ending. I don't mind it. But you're right. It was not what was supposed to happen. And the movie, so Neon Maniacs it's supposed to be an interdimensional monster movie, I guess, based on what Lando was reading. I don't remember whether I looked this up at the time or not. I can't remember. Because like I said, I haven't watched it since then. So it's been almost a decade since I've seen it.
From what the director said, the screenplay said. Yeah. Because the thing is, when you watch this movie, it's a bunch of weird guys show up, right? And there's no explanation for why they look the way they do. But there's a lot of them. I mean, there's 12 of them?
Yeah.
There's 12 maniacs.
Yeah.
And they're all
supposed to be 30-something? right?
Well, originally he wanted like 32 of them, and he can only afford to do 12. But there's an Indian, there's a Marine, there's a biker, there's a samurai, and they all got weird faces, and there was an intent. There was definitely an intent here, and they're definitely hunting. But they're allergic to... Oh, there's Beast Boy. That's the other one, too. But these are the names we gave them. And the idea, apparently, was that they come from another dimension, and they come hunting. And their portal is the back of a bread truck in a warehouse near the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yes, that they come out at night, and they are damaged by water.
Yes, water, yeah.
So...
Yeah, water will kill them,
Let's cover a few things here. The movie starts out, and a fisherman, or a guy fishing, is walking along and sees a cow skull that has trading cards in it with images of many of the creatures we will see, which is never explained why there are trading cards. Why do they have
trading cards of them? Yeah.
Yeah, why did they leave this cow skull for a guy to find and look at the trading cards, which never reappear in the rest of the movie, is never revisited.
Yeah, there's no reference to it, yeah.
Nothing. And then these people come out, and bizarrely, the movie chose to highlight the two or three worst looking ones of all of them, which is the Native American type.
The Native is pretty bad, yeah.
The ape man, who changes because the actor changed, because production took so long.
Yeah, they lost it. A lot of the maniacs are played by 2 to 3 people because of production issues. And it's most obvious with the ape man because he's got so little on. Yeah, his face is barely made up and his body changes drastically. Whereas the rest of them are in outfits and a lot of prosthetics, and it's much harder to tell. But no matter which version you're looking at, they both look like shit. The native one is low effort. He's got a weird face. They did something weird with his mouth where he just looks like he's got a low IQ. And then the other one you see the most of is the crocodile cyclops, which also doesn't look good. No. That said, the movie itself looks incredibly good.
There's a reason, which you found, which is
this guy works as a cinematographer. And before he made this movie, he worked as a cinematographer for years. And after this movie, he went on to keep being a cinematographer. This guy knows how to shoot a movie. This was his project. So the movie looks incredibly good.
It looks great.
And the actors, this is the other fucked up part about this, which is I totally thought this is going to be like a trash movie. But the trashiest part of this is that the monsters are ridiculous. Like, you don't understand why they look the way they do, why they're allergic to water, whatever. But beyond that, all the actors for this movie actually do a halfway decent job of acting. Some of them far better than others.
Yeah.
The settings are all good. I wonder if the reason that he had so many budgetary issues was because he didn't want to film it like a shit movie. Because if you look at it, the houses that the sets that they actually chose to use looked good. They looked fully realized. That was clearly somebody's house, right? I wonder if that was his house. They had a cast. They had this guy's camera work. I think at one point I said he was better than Kevin Smith's. He was good. Like the film.
And the female lead in this was Sharon Stone's girlfriend in Basic Instinct. This woman went on to do big things.
Oh, is that who she is? She looked familiar.
That's who she is. That's what most people would know her from. Yeah, she was funny. Sharon Stone's girlfriend in the first movie.
That's funny.
She's done a lot. She was in Days of Thunder, minor role, but she was in it. Yeah. So this is not the only thing she ever did, unlike some movies we watch.
And even the young woman in this movie, who apparently then never did another movie again, she's still really good as well.
She is. She actually comes off as a young woman, unlike most people who are trying to be young in these movies.
Yeah,
who don't look young at all.
Yeah,
this woman was good.
The music, there's a music sequence which is funny. The biggest problem with this movie is that he didn't finish it. They had budgetary issues, and he had cut the movie sooner. There was supposed to be a big fight at the end with all the maniacs, which never happened. So the movie has this kind of... But I do think that it has an ambiguous ending, which is very common to the era. So I didn't find it to be that jarring. You know, the maniacs showed up, and then, you know, as randomly as they showed up, they went away for now. Right? And the sequence where, you know, they're killing them with a fire hose, it's pretty well done. And when these guys melt to nothing, it's pretty funny. So I actually found this movie to be hilariously endearing. It's like a weird... Because, I mean, it just... The acting was okay. The look of it was, like, it looked really great. The story was weird. I was never bored. I mean, it had a nice clip. You know, the speed was good. I actually got to the end of this movie and felt bad that it wasn't finished, which doesn't often happen. That we watch these, you know, like I felt bad that this. I felt sad that this guy hadn't made any more movies as well, because, you know, he clearly had an eye for doing like wonky stuff. So, I mean, I would.
And I also think it's a shame they didn't highlight some of the other monsters, because I think some of the other ones looked way better than the ones that they focused on. I think it would have helped.
Although it is a ridiculous movie, let's be very clear. Like, this is not like a high class art or anything like that.
There's so little sense, but there's weird things in it that are very good. Like I really noticed that the way that the survivor is kind of, to a degree, tormented by the other, because basically it opens up and there's a park scene with all these kids, and everybody but this one woman gets slaughtered. And then she tells her story, and nobody believes her. And so, like, the parents of the missing kids are calling her saying, please, just tell me where my kid is. And she's, like, breaking down. And I'm like, that's more than you usually see in movies like this. They're actually getting into, well, if you're the only person who survives an insane event, nobody's going to believe you.
And they really hit you
like,
over...
she's getting beat up at school by the siblings, and the parents are calling and crying, and it's just miserable.
And they hit you over the head with the nerdy girl, how nerdy she is. Like, they really want to let you know. And the references are fantastic, where there's like, she's got a Blade Runner poster and a Nostromo hat and all
we
this shit in her room.
We haven't seen this amount of things we recognized as children since Silent Night, Deadly Night in the store, the toy store. We were looking at all the toys we had. That's the closest to this. We were like, oh, I know what that. Oh, I know that. And yeah, the two Nostromo hats. I mean, come on.
And honestly, and she's probably one of the smartest people in the movie.
She is absolutely the smartest and most effective person. She figures out their weakness. She knows how to set a trap. She successfully kills, 3 of them? That nobody else gets anywhere near.
At least 3 of them, yeah.
Yeah. She's got a fucking fire hose. She figures that out, and nobody else does, really, except until a certain point. But no, she's the... And also, as you said, what they did, and I said this on the commentary, is they were smart. They put her next to people who made her look younger. So there's a part where she's wandering around, a cop catches her.
Yeah, but she is
and that cop is a good 1.5 feet taller than she is, and she's probably already small to begin with. So she looks young.
Yeah.
And her voice seems to be naturally high. It doesn't seem like she's doing a voice. It seems like her voice is just high-pitched. And so you put all that together with the ridiculous clothing, and she does come off as very young. But the most capable one. So... there's a hilariously awful dad band at the end too, if you're into that.
Oh yeah, well I love how the one band looks vaguely young, and then the other band you're like, those guys are 50. Come on, man.
Those
they're not a high school
old
band.
Men that are hanging around San Francisco.
And the performance is just so over the top.
Ooh.
You know what?
Ooh, it's bad.
It's terrible. You know who I could see making a remake of this and actually having it be really funny? Adam Sandler.
It's possible, sure.
Because the absurd elements of this movie are so funny. He'd have trouble with the horror elements, but it is such a horror comedy. Like, it's not meant to be.
I would hand this to Sam Raimi, because I don't know what the hell he would do.
Oh yeah, Jesus. Yeah, I mean, you're sitting there going, why are the monsters wearing these outfits? What, was it a costume factory? Like, where did they get these clothes? Why are they all themed? Like, and the thing is, it should be bad.
What was the truck? Was it an ice cream truck? What was it?
It was a bread truck. It was a bread truck.
Yeah, a bread truck is their gateway. None of them are dressed as bakers, by the way. None of them
it should be unwatchable. And yet, it's fun to watch. Everyone was good at it. I mean, I feel bad they didn't finish it, because I would have liked to see what he did with that ending. Yeah. Even though I went into it being like, what the fuck is this? I actually enjoyed the hell out of it.
And this was the one I was most kind of like, oh, is this going to hold up, or am I going to be like, ooh?
Yeah, and what's funny is that this ended up being like miles better than New York Ninja. Like, I feel bad for New York Ninja because Neon Maniacs was so good that I think it kind of set my my expectations.
Yeah, if we'd
high.
started with New York Ninja and moved in the opposite direction, we might have been more. Well, you might have been more kind. I still like New York Ninja a lot because I look at it as an artistic achievement.
Yeah, and
so
you like
I can overlook everything else.
Also, because it was filmed guerrilla style. There's a lot of New York in the '80s in there.
Oh God, it's great. Yes, there is a lot of people staring, going, "Is this a real crime or what?
York,
what am I looking
New York,
at here?"
Actual New York is a character in that movie, so
it sure is. And actual New Yorkers trying to discern whether this is in fact the strangest thing they've seen this week is great.
But no,
those New York subways from that time period. Oh baby.
Oh yeah,
anyway.
They actually did look like that. Yeah. I don't know who I would tell to watch Neon Maniacs is the problem because
B-movie horror fans easily.
Yeah, I guess that's the crowd because it is a good B-horror.
Let's put it this way.
B-horror.
It looks very good. There is enough of a story. It has enough of a story. Even if you don't know the why the Neon Maniacs are there, it is somewhat alluded to in the opening crawl, which I think, is this the movie where you bump the keyboard and jumped ahead 10 minutes? Or was that,
no, that was New York Ninja. That's the first time that's ever happened.
Or was this the one? Was there something with the audio on your end? Was it playing out of your speakers or something? Was that this one?
Yes, it was playing out of my computer.
So you missed the opening, which does sort of tell you that they're from another time or something. There is an opening narration that says, oh God, what is it? It's
I heard it. I still heard it. I just heard
it. You did? Yeah. That's the closest you get to an explanation. But I think if you're into B-movie horror, and especially if, look, it's not like Italian films make a lot of sense, right? We've already talked about this. So the inexplicable elements are not that big a deal. It is great looking. The acting is largely very good, which is two things you can't say about a lot of B-movie horror stuff to begin with, right there. We're going to get to that Miami Golem in a second as far as how it looks. And the acting, really. So those two things are already putting it a bit above. And as long as you're okay with some of the stuff not being explained, and you want to see a really, really cheesy battle of the bands, you're going to have a great time. You just will.
It is so it's such an 80s flick. And it has these inexplicable things that occur. Like when the one cop shows up and he's Bullock from the animated Batman series.
I was about to say, or if you're a Batman animated series Harvey Bullock fan, you'll have a great one.
Yeah, down to his fucking car. Like he's driving like a 50s police car and nobody else is.
Yes. Like,
you're like, whoa,
and you said,
Bullock
didn't you
is
say
here.
he had a really good hat? Didn't you say his hat was really good?
He has probably one of the best fedoras I've seen in any of these fucking like B-level movies.
Which again, as a comparison, we saw one of the worst hats we've ever seen in New York Ninja, which is a felt hat.
The hats in New York Ninja were truly awful.
They were, but that felt hat was the worst. Even I, knowing nothing about hats, saw that.
You know what
it is? Oh boy!
He thought he was being stylish with the hat, and instead it was drawing attention to like what was a terrible hat.
It really was. So. Whereas in this, the Harvey Bullock hat you said was very good.
No, it was sharp. It was really sharp fedora. Yeah,
and it does look like if we didn't know that the animated series wouldn't exist for another 6 years, you would sit there and go, oh, somebody was an animated series fan and just wanted to put Harvey Bullock in here.
Did somebody see this movie and go, you know what? I bet that guy's Harvey Bullock. Yeah,
disturbingly close to the point where you're just like, wow, okay. Did the animated series people see this and base Harvey Bullock on this cop?
It wouldn't surprise me.
I would believe it.
If
you told me.
If you haven't seen this and you like horror at all, you should definitely. It is an oddly endearing movie. Like you go into it going,
mess.
Yeah, you're like, what the hell is this? And then halfway through, you're like, you know what? I really enjoy this. I don't know why, but I do.
Yeah, no, it was. It held up much better than I was expecting, and so if they ever release a very good version of this, I'll buy it. There's unfortunately Vinegar Syndrome hasn't apparently done this one yet. If they had, I would. The only Blu-ray available is like a German one for $190, and I'm not paying that much.
I mean, like I said, it's sad he didn't do more. Like he didn't do more movies.
Well, he went on to do cinematography. He just didn't direct anything else, which is too bad. But maybe this. I said this in the commentary. Maybe it was such a bad experience. He was like, "Fuck this."
Oh, I'm sure he did. I mean, it was the funding. I mean, he probably looked at it and said, you know what? I wonder if it took him that long just to recover from the financial hit that he took making this.
It may be more of the fact that when you're a cinematographer, nobody's going to blame you unless you're bad at being a cinematographer, which he clearly isn't. So everything else is past you. I mean, so the director has to deal with the producers and the money. The cinematographer just has to show up, get paid, and make things look good. And if you're good at that, that's all you got to worry about. You're outside of the rest of it. Whereas when you're a director, you run the whole show, and every fucking nightmare is your nightmare. So it may have just been as simple as, you know what? I don't want to deal with this side of the business. I'll stick to making the camera make things look good because I know I can do that and nobody's going to give me a hard time about it. And I'm not going to get called in the producer's office and told that I have to show more busty chicks because we got to get more teenagers into the theater. I just have to make the lighting look good.
Was there nudity in this movie? I don't think there's any nudity.
Yeah, I remember the one girl's making out and I think her shirt comes off and then she goes down on the guy. And then that's when she gets beheaded. You don't see,
okay, yeah, that sounds far sexier than what it actually was in the movie. She goes down, sexier. They're fully clothed, and then she gets decapitated.
Yeah.
So, it's not.
I think that's as much as there is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more suggestive than anything.
Yes, and you will see the lead woman in bikini a lot, and she looks great in it. But that's as much as you get.
But I did like it. Yeah, I did like this movie.
And it was a good time.
So, yeah,
it was a good time.
Now we have to get to the
and finally
special one.
We get to the movie which inspired the opening theme of this of the show, or the intro bit, which I'm going to play a little bit here again because I want you all to tell me if you can guess what this song was ripped off from. So I'm going to go forward a bit so you don't have to hear from the beginning. Just tell me if any of this, see if it just sounds vaguely familiar.
It's that part right there.
Yeah, that part in particular. Yeah. So that's the Axel F theme from Beverly Hills Cop. That's what that is.
They finagled it a bit so that they could use it, but otherwise that's.
I mean, I should have played it backwards to see if it was it backwards, because I'm almost like, is it just it backwards?
Oh my god! That'd be hilarious if that's all they did.
I mean, that would be astonishing. And there's unfortunately not a way for me to easily backwards it in this program. Yeah. I don't think. Can I reverse it? No, I can't reverse it, which is too bad. So I should have tried that.
We watched Miami Golem basically because we watched this other movie, The Beyond.
Now, hold on. I have to be very clear.
Okay.
All credit to you, because you picked this. Okay. And I will admit, I had my doubts. But this is all Lando. Lando has the touch now. Because
No, I don't have
this
the
is
touch.
Great.
We watched The Beyond, and I was trying to find out what the accent of the lead actor was, the doctor, who blows the little girl's, zombie girl's head off. And I was looking at his filmography, and he had some interesting titles. And one of them was called Miami Golem. And that sounded like the type of movie that Joe and I would watch. So Joe went hunting, and he found it. So it was kind of a cold watch for both of us. We were just not prepared for the absolute mayhem that this movie was. I mean, for one, it feels like somebody watched Buckaroo Banzai and tried to rip it off. Like, this is I think you said it's like this is almost a bad Italian remake of Buckaroo Banzai.
It was when I realized what this movie, which was a year after Buckaroo Banzai, that it was almost certainly ripping off big parts of it.
And that's what the director did.
I think part of my brain came out of my ears in astonishment.
The director was known for this, too, of basically, like, a movie would come out and then he would make a bad Italian version of it, like, very quickly.
Well, I mean, to be fair, all Italian directors at this time were known for that. But of all the movies to rip off, to rip off a movie that bombed in the U.S. when it came out, because normally I said this on the commentary. Normally, the Italianos, they love to take the big movies and rip them off. They have at least that many brain cells working. This guy picked a bomb to rip off.
But it is different enough. There's enough other weird shit he threw in there that
yeah.
I mean, essentially, in a nutshell, a meteor falls to Earth that's got a few cells in it. The lab is basically trying to regrow the cells to see what the creature is, and they succeed. And then what happens is essentially some crazy rich guy steals those cells and is growing them into some kind of super being. At which point, aliens contact the lead character, who is a do-everything, jack-of-all-trades reporter, and say to him, hey, we need you to stop this creature because it's an alien species that once almost took over the galaxy. So we need you to kill it for us. And then they send him on his way with the help of a scientist and a psychic woman. And that right there is just your setup. And as the creature begins to grow into a fetus-sized baby, honestly, it's almost a full like newborn towards the end. Yeah. It begins to use its nefarious psychic powers to stop people from possibly destroying it. To hilarious success. That's it in a nutshell.
Yes, and astonishingly, the amount of movies people say this is ripping off from, not one of them mentions Buckaroo Banzai, which I find hilarious because there's so much of that there. But a lot of people did pick up the Beverly Hills Cop theme, so credit to them for at least hearing that bit. But yeah, the movie is so weirdly structured. I mean, the assassin that works for the big bad guy, who is the worst assassin in the world.
What was his name? And the big boss just kept calling his name out to him.
Oh my God, what was his name? Hold on, I'll tell you. His name was...
He said it a million times.
Yeah, he did say it a million times. His name was Roach.
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 Tell me what you think, Roach. Yeah. What's going on, Roach?
I mean...
Roach, get my car, Roach.
Just incredible. The movie itself is so bizarre. You know, the opening where we see this woman jogging, and she's jogging like she's got a brick jammed in her ass.
I didn't realize
like she's trying to pinch her cheeks.
I didn't realize that was the psychic until later on.
Oh yeah, no, you're not. I mean, but when we first see her, it's just she's running in this weird alien manner. Where I think I said, is that the Miami Golem right there? Because she's running in this very strange horse-trotty way.
Yeah.
And then the guy is a reporter who's also running his own camera, who's also conducting an interview, who's also a scientist, who's also a fan boat captain, who's also a revolver sharpshooter, it's just crazy. This one guy does everything.
Yeah, he is.
The only thing he really sucks at is flirting with his secretary. Because I don't even know what to make of those interplays. They're so weird. But yeah, he is Buckaroo Banzai through the worst dimension. It's Jesus. It is entertaining as hell.
I enjoyed the fuck out of this when the aliens show up and start talking to him, and they talk to him through a reflection of himself. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
contact.
It's clever. You know, when the woman has a psychic fight with the alien baby, and it just starts throwing her around the room.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know what? How many movies have done this? Where it's like just someone like throwing themselves around the room, but it's a psychic fight. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah, it's crazy.
I liked it a lot. I mean, it's just so unhinged.
A blast. Yeah, and we watched a really crappy version of it. I will link to the good YouTube version of it that I found later. That is, in fact, widescreen. Ours was cropped. There were words cut off in the titles, which doesn't make a big difference, but it's annoying. There was VCR tracking lines at the bottom the whole time. The version I found later was better, but I don't know how I missed it.
The main guy was always so positive about everything. Like, it's like he was acting in a different movie.
Yeah.
He was just so quick and so, like,
it was
upbeat.
weird.
the chemistry between him and the psychic woman was weird. Or like,
he does this thing where she takes her shirt off and he makes like the sign of the cross on her naked body.
Oh yeah, when they're gonna make out. Yeah, he like
it's bizarre.
He does this like weird cross thing on her. Yeah.
And then he's shooting at a helicopter where the guy with the machine gun can't hit him even though he's out in plain daylight. It's amazing. The fan boat chase. The shotgun of infinite range. There's so much. It's honestly, the fetus in the jar. It's all
one of the funniest part of this movie is when they need to get the bad guy out of the house, and the psychic woman basically like sends him a message that he makes him think he suddenly has to go to the airport.
He has to go to the airport and meet a senator.
Yeah, I know, but for us, it was just so funny because we had him like fixated. I think we're on barbecue. So for us, it was like, oh, I gotta go to barbecue right now, Roach.
I need fried gator chunks, Roach. Get the car, goddammit. But also, he was basically doing the Bane subplot from Batman and Robin, where he was talking about growing this super psychic being, and then meeting with international world leaders.
Oh, using him to take over the world, yeah.
Yeah, he was Lex Luthor by way of Poison Ivy, And it was Buckaroo Banzai, where the aliens are like, yeah, this thing will conquer us. You have to stop it, or we're going to blow the planet up, or whatever. It's, oh my God. It's a glorious mess. It's great.
It was fun. I mean, it's fun as hell to watch.
I truly hope this gets a high quality release because I will buy it. If they released, I would watch this again. I had such a fun time with this thing.
One of the things it suffers from is very clearly it wasn't written by an American. So some of the translation is weird because you have you have English speakers saying stuff that wasn't written necessarily by an English speaker.
No.
So you have funny dialogue.
Yeah. There's some backwards phrasing which would indicate Italian, like kind of like the Beyond had that, where you got some funny phrasing.
But once the aliens get there, it's just unhinged.
You know what? There really wasn't a moment in this that I was bored, even before the aliens, because him being a Swiss Army knife as his jobs.
The line when the old doctor refers to himself as a fucking Nazi.
There's an in joke that makes no sense about him being a Nazi. He's in on it. He discovers unobtainium, and then they accidentally burn it with his camera laser microscope. Then phantom hands and ghosts come out, and he captures them on film, and somehow this isn't a sensation.
Remember, it was
and then they're Atlantean until they're not. Yeah, that gets dropped. At one point that was there, and then it doesn't matter. It's everything. It's just they're throwing so much at you. And the movie flies along. I mean, the movie chops. So it's never boring. It really isn't. I mean, and then the woman is hyper-aggressive sexually. She's like, hey, you want to fuck? Hey, you want to fuck? Hey, you want to fuck?
Yeah, that means I want to fuck you. And then he's like, okay, yeah.
He's like, slow down, alien woman. I need some romancing first.
Yeah.
Until he doesn't. Yeah.
It's great. It's not a good movie, but it is a great movie.
It is a highly entertaining garbage show. It's great.
Oh, yes.
This is what, when people talk about the Italian ripoff films, like I got to tell Len about this film and see what he thinks of this, because I think there's a future episode in this for us. Because this is the best of it. This is like Robo Warrior, or we will watch Shocking Dark at some point for Aliens Terminator fans. This is what you want it to be, where you can see, I mean, especially in that goddamn Beverly Hills Cop theme. Holy shit, that is astonishing how much of a ripoff that is, where even people who aren't movie people are like, wait, that's the Beverly Hills Cop theme. But then you start picking up all the other stuff that they're ripping off.
Yeah, but you know what? But here's the other thing is, I when I was watching this, though, I never felt like I was being insulted. Like, I didn't feel like anybody half-assed this. Like, even, like, it was a movie about aliens and psychics, and they did really well trying to create kind of, like, psychic situation. Like, when the whole lab tries to kill the guy.
Yeah.
You know, because the psychic baby doesn't want him to get near it. Like,
there's
all this
stuff
thing
about...
that it's done well. It's just, done on a budget. On an Italian budget.
The part where these movies become insulting is when they're boring. When they're ripping it off badly. When you're ripping off multiple things and you're never boring the audience, who fucking cares? Like, all right, I'm in. Just keep doing weird shit and being inept at your rip-offedness, and I'm in. That's what you. This is a perfect example of that, where it's cobbling together all these things badly, but in a way where it's like cotton candy. You know, cotton candy is just shit. It's rotting your teeth. It has no value. It barely even tastes good. And yet you can easily just eat a whole bunch of it because it's got that weird artificial sweetness that you associate with cotton candy. So that's the movie. And it never drags, and it keeps throwing new weird things at you, either in the script or in the performance.
Maybe that's what it is that the left field is just endless in this film.
Well, it's a combination, because it's both, right? So it's the weird story elements, but then it's those odd things like, why is she jogging like that in the beginning? Why is he doing every single job? Why is the fan boat guy a psychic who knows something's happening and then they just kill him? Why does she have psychic powers for some things and not for others? Why, when she strips, does he do the weird sign of the cross on her body? All these things just keep adding up. Why is the puppet baby always trapped in that jar in a basement with no guards? The most powerful being the planet has ever known has a couple of dipshit scientists and a guy at the front desk who was easily fooled. None of these things make coherent sense, but who cares? Because it just keeps moving along. And then you get to the end, and it has a great ending, and it's over with. Perfect. Just great.
Yeah. And it actually has
an ending. And a bitchin' soundtrack. So... I mean, it's not good. Again, like you said, it's not good, but it's great.
No,
this is what you want. It's not good, but it's great because we had a rockin' good time with this thing.
Miami Golem is the train wreck that is so much fun to watch. Unlike, for me, New York Ninja, which was like, it was a familiar train wreck. I'd seen train wrecks like this before. Sure. Whereas Miami Golem, it was like, oh my God, they're trying to do all these things. Holy shit. And everyone in it is fun and amusing to watch, and everyone can act in some way or another. And then at times it's a comedy, and then at times Roach walks in the room and kills everybody.
Yeah. It was a great time. I would watch this movie again by myself, and I would have a great time with it. So I think it works as a movie to watch with people, but I also think if you're into the weird shit that I'm into, this is one, like I said,
it's not a horror movie. It's not a horror movie.
I don't know what it is. I guess technically it's science fiction.
Yeah.
But
it's like a science fiction B movie, I guess.
But if this were to come out in 4K tomorrow with some nice features, I would buy it in a heartbeat.
But
Maniacs too.
And there's some interesting decision making in there as well. Like, as long it's bad, but like I said, I like that they had a psychic fight. I like that when he goes to talk to the aliens, they basically used the mirror reflection. Did they read Contact, or did that just something they came up with because they were like, you know what, this is cheaper, right? I mean, there's all these little things there. Like, there's actually like interesting decision making within the mess.
I would be very, very interested in hearing a commentary from the writer or the director or the stars, the woman, the two leads. I would love to hear what the experience of creating this was and being in it. Was there even a goddamn script, or was it every day they'd show up and get handed a handful of pages and none of it made sense? Because I would not be surprised if they were making this thing the fuck up as they went along. And it's not uncommon for that to happen. So I would be 0% surprised if they were to say, yeah, we'd walk on set, he didn't speak any English, and they would hand us roughly transcribed English versions of the scene, and he'd just shoot whatever we did, and that was it. And they didn't even bother retaking.
The thing is, what's funny to me is that like that movie we watched last week, The Beyond. I found that it went on too long and had some interesting moments, but otherwise I didn't think it was fun. Whereas with this, it never got slow. I mean, Jesus, because the movie's only an hour and 26 minutes long, and it still feels like it goes by really fast. I was never bored. There's lots of weird shit. Every time you think you've had the weirdest thing happen, some other weird shit occurs. I mean, yeah, this is the bad movie you want, not The Beyond for me.
Sure.
You know, which is weird. Is I actually think that Neon Maniacs. I feel like Neon Maniacs is for me technically a better movie because I feel like even though the monsters are ridiculous, I feel like it looks better.
No! From a technical standpoint, it's no contest. Even though we don't see this in high definition, you can tell this is not shot as well. And the only real makeup is that ridiculous puppet. Whereas Neon Maniacs had good makeup effects. Yeah. The problem is they spotlighted the wrong monsters. Yeah. They kept the good monsters in the background. And this little fetus thing is stupid looking.
It is.
It really it's laughable.
I think that
and
Neon
you can tell it's not as well shot.
Is a better movie, but I think that Miami Golem is a more fun movie.
Yes. Okay. So what I'll say is, in total, if we were to say as a complete thing, of the three, Neon Maniacs for me is the best one because on every major point that makes up a movie, even the story, as incomplete as it is, it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's not like The Beyond ends and it's like, okay, but why did all these things happen? And the movie, intentionally or not, is meant to be a dream logic thing. Whereas Neon Maniacs, even though it wasn't finished, it has an ending. Like the ending feels like an 80s ending with the thing where the van opens up and it's like the end of Phantasm where the tall man comes through the mirror and pulls the kid through. It's that type of ending. So other movies have done this. It's beautifully shot. The acting is largely very good. And the makeup on, sadly, you don't see a lot of it, but the makeup is good on many of the creatures, just not the two they spotlighted. Whereas Miami Golem, it is a more purely fun movie, but it has a lot of technical deficiencies. The opening soundtrack, which just makes you laugh at it right from the jump.
Yeah.
The weird acting choices. The story, which is every bit, I would argue, in many ways, as nonsensical as Neon Maniacs in some of the choices, like why is Atlantis there? And then it's not. Like that's a Neon Maniacs type of thing. And you can tell it's not filmed as well. The thing where he's shooting at the helicopter with a fucking revolver is laughably stupid. And the puppet is awful. Awful puppet. It works because this is an Italian ripoff movie, and that's fine. Yeah. But from a purely, if I was to rank these movies in terms of showing these to a random person, I would go with Neon Maniacs. And they would have some questions, but I think they would be impressed with how it looks and the acting, and Neon Maniacs would be second. But did I have more fun with Miami Golem?
Yes.
Yes. I think it's a more fun movie. Yeah. But it's not the best movie of the three.
What's funny, too, is I had just watched the finale of Stranger Things when we watched Miami Golem. So, I had gone from, psychics to, psychics. And it's just amusing.
Yeah.
Because, they've been doing kind of the same shit for years. I mean, she twitches her fingers in Stranger Things and someone's neck snaps. But it's just the actor turning his head and sinking it, right? Well, that's what they've been doing for years. They did that in Miami Golem where she's, she's sitting there concentrating and things are happening and narratively what's going on. But I mean, she's just sitting in a room looking like she's got constipation. But that it's connected to the, so it's amusing to me, that connection. It's always been like that,
Oh, yeah. And I would be interested, again, we also are going from a poor copy. So I would be curious honestly, a properly restored version would look like.
That shit doesn't bother me at all. I grew up on these kinds of VHS
No.
films.
It doesn't bother me, but would the two movies be closer technically if we had a properly restored version? Maybe this movie looks a lot better.
No, I don't think so. I think the entire color palette of this movie is very drawn out. It feels like an Italian, cop movie.
That's what it is, man.
That's what it is, right? It just happens to be, about aliens in Miami.
And that's where there's that strange tension because I think Miami Golem is more fun, but I think Neon Maniacs is a better movie.
Yeah.
So it's weird because I'd almost say watch them both.
Oh, I think you should watch them both.
Yeah.
No. I would suggest anybody who likes weird movies or horror movies or B movies, I think you should watch Miami Golem and Neon Maniacs. I just don't think I would give New York Ninja a pass unless you're fascinated by the art project that was making it.
Yeah, that's a harder general movie to recommend to just anybody. I think you have to be into this stuff like I am, and you will get more out of it. So let me just see. All three of these movies are free to watch. Two of them, I'm going to link to the best version I can find of Miami Golem, which, is doing a lot of work. When I say best, that word is doing a lot of work. But I will link to it so you can watch it because it is on YouTube. The other two are basically on every one of the free services there is. Plex, Pluto, Tubi, Fossum. It's on all of them. So the nice part is all this stuff is free to watch. You don't have to pay for any of it. But yes, I would agree with Lando. For most people, okay, here's another qualifier, I guess, if this matters to you. If you can't put up with VHS quality film, then don't even bother with Miami Golem because it is globby and not clear. It does look like the Vaseline smear effect from Star Wars for the land speeder. No doubt about it. There is no way to get around that. The audio quality also, you can hear the VHS hum all through it. So if that's going to bother you, then of the three, the easy option is Neon Maniacs. That one I think you could watch, and it's very, very good looking and pristine and has high quality acting and shots. It's just that the narrative is going to be a bit all over the place. Even though there is still a consistency to it. Unlike, say, Miami Golem, you don't find out halfway through the movie that, I don't know, that Atlantis is involved or Transylvania is involved. They don't suddenly throw a curve at you. They just don't explain what the monsters are. There's just no explanation. The most confusing element, honestly, is the trading cards. The trading cards are baffling, but they're only at the very beginning, and then they just forget about it, so you'll probably forget about it too. So in terms of, for anybody of the three, I think Neon Maniacs is the recommendation because it's a very good copy of it, and the acting and shots and even the music are very good. Story, bumpy, but Miami Golem has that same problem. But for the people who just want to have a good old time seeing a movie that is pulling all these weird things into itself with odd decisions that are good odd decisions, that's Miami Golem. So as a 2-pack, they're great. But if you're somebody who's going to get bothered by watching something that's very, very 480p, then just go with Neon Maniacs. But the good news is they're all free. And for the right viewer, I think they're all worth watching. But I do agree that Neon Maniacs and Miami Golem are the more easily accessible for most people. The good news is all of them are short. It's all 90 minutes or less.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm
you're not going to have to waste a lot of time.
126 for Miami Golem, 131 for Neon Maniacs, and then 133 for New York Ninja. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 90 minutes in and out.
Yeah. That's good for me. I mean, yeah. I wasn't bored this week.
And no. It was a good week. And next week is going to be a bit of an I'll preface it a bit. We're going to be doing something a little bit different for next week, which I just thought of today because this is how my brain works. Yeah.
God, you know what I was thinking about this the other day. You know what we should do?
Sure.
I think we should watch the original Star Wars. At some point.
I have no problem with that. I have the 35mm 4K scans of each one.
That's what I'm saying. I think at some point we should.
I mean,
watch
the
them
unaltered versions, the originals.
It would be funny to see the kind of commentary that because we haven't watched them in so long. So
okay,
anyway,
so
that was just an idea. Go on.
No, that I will have to mail you those.
Okay.
Because the 4K files are something like 40 gigs a piece.
Wow.
I mean, when I tell you I have the 35mm scans that were cleaned up and restored with proper, I have they're big fucking files. But hit the mic. Sorry. Smacked the mic when I did that.
That's how
when I said that,
excited
I put my hand forward and I smacked the mic. But no, I'm with you because I have no problem doing that. So that will be coming up. On that note, we're at the 3-hour mark, so now we're going to shut up. So basically, I don't think we would not recommend any of these. It just depends what you want. But they're all free. So the good thing you can do with these, like a lot of other movies I've reviewed in the past where I've mentioned this, is if you're not on board in 15 minutes, get out. Just stop, because it's not going to change. But that's good. There's movies where you can't necessarily tell if they change or they build slowly. Bullshit. These don't do that. This is not slow burn material. You're either in or you're out really quickly. So I would give any of these, if you're on the fence, give them 10 to 15 minutes. And if you are interested, you will be interested because they stay the same throughout. But again, don't waste any more time than that. And you're 90 minutes in and out. So on that note, yeah, and they're all free. So the nice part is those 10 to 50 minutes ain't going to cost you shit. So that's also a good thing. On that note, everybody, whatever you do with your weekend, have a good time doing it. And we'll talk to you again next week. Visit OzoneNightmare.com to subscribe to new episodes, browse through our back catalog, or to find links to support the show. Follow @OzoneNightmare on Twitter for the latest episode postings and other show information. If 280 characters just isn't enough, you can always email us, theozonenightmare@gmail.com. The opening theme for the show is provided by Heartbeat Hero. The closing theme is provided by Ogre. Please visit and support these artists using the links in the show notes for each episode.